primaried out. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Senator John Cornyn this time.
We've come up short in this primary runoff.
And as Fox's Madeline Rivera reports, Senator Cornyn fell way short in Texas of his Trump-backed GOP challenger, Ken Paxton.
Paxton easily defeated Cornyn in the GOP runoff, 63 to 36%, another sign of the president's power over the GOP. President Trump had criticized Cornyn for not siding with him on some issues like ending the filibuster and the Save America Act. The president's endorsement of Paxton angered some Republicans who worry about whether he can prevail over Democratic Senate candidate James Tallarico. Paxton, though, insists Texas voters wanted change.
The future of Texas and the future of America is on the line.
9 people remain unaccounted for after a disaster in Washington state. A giant chemical storage tank at a pulp and paper mill in Longview imploded, sending corrosive liquid gushing. 1 worker was killed, 9 more injured.
The tank remains unstable, creating a dangerous situation for our personnel.
And Fire Rescue Chief Scott Goldstein says they're working on a plan to deal with that and will only work during daylight hours. The National Guard will help the search and rescue. There was a community vigil for the dead and missing workers with relatives demanding more answers. Still tension between the U.S. and Iran as they try to negotiate a deal to end the conflict. Iran vowing to retaliate for U.S. strikes Monday, hitting missile launch sites and boats laying underwater mines as Israel ramps up the fight against Hezbollah in Lebanon.
Israel is launching daily air and artillery strikes, especially in southern Lebanon, while Hezbollah has launched rockets and drones at communities in northern Israel and at Israeli troops occupying parts of the region.
That's Fox's Ashley Webster. Israel keeps attacking Iran-backed militants in Gaza as well, killing the new leader of Hamas's military wing days after Israel took out his predecessor. America's listening to Fox.
If you want unlimited talk, text, and data on a crazy fast network, Big Wireless will sell it to you right now for as little as $70 a month. Or you can buy it from Pure Talk for half of that. I'm talking about unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data for just $34.99 a month. Stop paying the big guys twice what you need to. Dial pound 250, say my name. That's pound 250 micro to switch to Pure Talk, where the savings are truly unlimited.
Now, this 25th anniversary of 9/11, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation remains committed to honoring the heroes shaped by that day. Heroes like NYPD Detective Victor Vargas, a U.S. Air Force veteran who died from pancreatic cancer after serving in the World Trade Center recovery efforts. Tunnel to Towers honored Detective Vargas by paying off the family's mortgage. You can donate $11 a month, and you can amplify your impact with a car or land donation. Go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. This hour is presented by Subaru of Gwinnett. You'll love the difference. The Morning Extra, only on Extra 106.3.
Morning, y'all. Tug and Los. We've made it halfway through the work week already. It's like fast forward. This week is fast forwarded because we had that day off on Monday. But you're halfway there. Like Bon Jovi singing Living on a Prayer from 1986, 87-ish, somewhere around there.
Feels like 86 sounds about right.
Yeah, Slippery When Wet, so good. Wanted, Dead or Alive was on there too. Wanted. And then You Give Love a Bad Name. God, it was a good record. How are you this morning, dude?
I'm good. All right. Had a fun little evening.
Dude, last night, we were out at, had to find an office park that had a parking deck because my son's Jeep, the hardtop, was leaking again.
Oh, no.
Like we had gotten it fixed a while back and it just started leaking again. Man, he came home and it looked like there was a gusher, a gully washer in his front floorboard. And I was like, oh, my Lord. So I went to O'Reilly Auto Parts and bought some,
Do you have to get like the heavy duty tape? What do you do?
It wasn't tape. It was like it was sticky back, but it was the foam stuff where it creates that barrier, and we put it in there. But today I'm gonna have to. Which I think will work for right now, but I'm going to see if I can't find some place to do it to do it upright, not my half-assed way.
You get the panic of, why is it wet in here?
Yeah, well, seriously, let me tell you. Thankfully, it's a Jeep, so it's not that big a deal.
Yeah.
But I can tell now with he's got, it's a 2015, so it was the early end of like having the ability to use Bluetooth in there. And but now, because of the water, I feel like it's starting to make the Bluetooth cut out. So, like, he was talking on the phone, and, like, every other word was getting through. So it seems like there's some things going on.
Are you at the point, as he's getting near, kind of the halfway point through college, are you now kind of putting out the, hey, son, let's make sure we do things right because you're going to need another vehicle in about 2 years?
Yeah, that's right. That's the thing, though. Jeeps, man, they'll last forever. Like, you just get
just regular maintenance. Take care of it.
Exactly. Those things will last for.
There's a reason why the military used them for so long.
Right, absolutely. So not yet, but I mean, at some point when he graduates, and I know he wants to get his master's done, so maybe after that we start talking about it. But no, we're not even considering it now.
As it rains on your son when it rains.
Well, hopefully we'll get that repaired.
You're a big time radio star, and your son is driving around with Bluetooth that doesn't work and rain that gets in the Jeep when it rains. And your plan is, well, let's go get some better tape.
Welcome to life, kid. This is real. This is real life.
I know that we don't. The joke it started with some of the comics of the 80s and 90s who would always talk about wealth.
Yes,
it's like no, we're rich, Dad. No, I'm rich.
Yeah, right. That's right.
You're gonna figure it out.
That's right. I know Shaq said that.
Shaq has always joked around about that.
Yeah.
Bill Cosby was the one who was famously did that as a bit in the 80s.
Yeah. Cosby. Yeah,
we didn't know.
Yeah, we had no idea then. I remember my parents watching Bill Cosby himself, the stand-up routine, way back in the 80s.
No, your mom and I are rich.
Yeah, you are not.
Otherwise, it's different.
Right. Yeah, absolutely right. But, when in a couple of years, we'll get it all squared away, get it all taken care of, and I don't know what we're going to do about that Bluetooth. He's probably going to have it.
My car's got Bluetooth issues. I don't know what it is.
What you got?
It's probably because it's raining in your car.
No, is it raining in your car too?
No, it's not raining in my car.
Let me tell you, dude, it was raining. It was saturated. The front floorboard was like when you set your foot down, you could just hear the squishy water. Oh. But so we're gonna have to use some heavy.
No, it's my Honda Pilot. I don't know what it is. It'll just randomly. I'll just be driving down the highway. It just I'll be listening to music, just stops.
It just quits.
Just quits.
Yeah,
it takes 5 seconds to come back up.
What year's your car?
2013.
Okay, so Jacob's was 2015. So maybe it's just right. Maybe it's just the things are starting to wear down. Unfortunately for Jacob, I don't know about you, but fortunately for Jacob, he's stuck with it.
My car stays dry.
Does it good? Well, that's
the Bluetooth is a little bit wonky, but it's dry.
It's dry inside. I don't have to worry about that. So we did, man. I went out to O'Reilly, found the auto foam, whatever, and we found us a parking deck in a medical facility, and took the top off and started laying in the new pieces.
Excellent.
And this morning, I checked it this morning, and it had rained overnight, and it was in good shape. So we've got it. We've got a small patch on it. And then, after that, I was wide awake, got back home. We were listening to the Braves game, Ben Ingram calling the Braves game on 680 as we were doing this in this parking deck. And then got home, stayed up, watched the Braves hold on to it. It was got
a little shaky there.
Got a little shaky, and it's so funny because you're so used to seeing Iglesias just sit everybody down. Last night, Red Sox hit a little bit on him.
Yeah,
and they had to pull it together.
Yeah, interesting that the Red Sox basically didn't scratch. After the first inning, they were just dead in the water, and then as soon as they went to that portion of the bullpen, they're like, wait a minute, you guys are getting back in this thing.
Yeah, seriously. And they were just hit, and then I think they scored like 3 in the ninth, didn't they?
Yeah, they got to 7-6.
Yeah, 7-6, and then finally got out of it, which was great.
I feel bad for Los this morning.
Well, I was about to ask.
Well, it's a tough game.
It's not because of the loss. It's because it's the worst officiated NBA game I think you'll see.
It was a little brutal last night, but I mean, you got to play through that stuff.
What were they calling or that they shouldn't have, or vice versa?
I think the two strangest calls as we were making a run in the third quarter, and this would be the Spurs playing the Oklahoma City Thunder in Game 5. There was a ball on the rim that Luke Cornett had basically ball had come off. It was a rebound. He's tipping it in, and the defender from behind him slaps it off the rim, and he's immediately like, hey, that's a goaltend.
Yeah, goaltend, yeah.
All right, well, that's going to happen. Well, also in a critical juncture, you had a ball that looked like it might have gone off of Wemby's foot. It didn't. It went off an Oklahoma City Thunder player. And the Spurs, they send a player to the scorer's table because they buys you an extra second to look and see the play. And immediately he gets Mitch Johnson gets hey, review that. He calls for a review. The ref looks dead at him, and they throw the ball in. And now here come the Thunder. And Mitch Johnson losing his mind.
Yeah.
That's the guy who he picked up his third technical of the year.
Oh, wow.
He doesn't get many.
Yeah.
He got one last night.
Yeah, well, because they obviously just ignored him. How can that stand?
Hey, it's home cooking, man. This is what you get in the NBA playoffs, and it's fine. We've gotten it 2 in San Antonio. Going back there Thursday, get the home cooking, and then we'll see what happens in Game 7.
Yeah. Well, and it was late, too, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was about 11:30 by the time that thing was coming to an end.
Goodness gracious.
It was a late one.
Yeah, well, we'll get them back.
Did you expect the Knicks to sweep, by the way?
The way they're playing, yeah. And Cleveland looked out of gas.
Yeah,
so
they look good.
Just what it is.
Oh, watched that game with my son, that last one. Whew, good Lord. Yeah, they just dominated.
Speaking of sweeps in Texas.
Yeah, holy cow. Yeah, a big one. A big one. Donald Trump, if he endorses you, it seems pretty straightforward.
Well, I thought that the Republican voters hate him. And I thought he's so unpopular that for some reason everyone he endorses continues to win.
Well, as a matter of fact, listen to this. Dude is like perfect.
Races and Senate races. This is his scorecard, okay? He has endorsed 8 governors. Now, some of these races weren't real close, didn't have a lot of competition, but some of them did. I mean, we saw what happened in Louisiana, the primary of Bill Cassidy. We saw what happened a week ago tonight with Tom Massey in Kentucky. And now we're seeing it again tonight, okay, in Texas. Governor level, Trump endorsed 8. He won 8 times. U.S. House, 101 endorsed. He won... 101 endorsed in the House, and he won 101. Let me put on the pencil right here and show you this. U.S. Senate, Sean, he has endorsed 8 candidates. And prior to tonight, he had won 8 times. And now you can take the endorsement from 8 to 9 endorsed, and from 8 to 9 winner.
100%.
Ken Paxton was outspent 9-1. Got the endorsement from Trump, got the endorsement of Wesley Hunt, the congressman who got knocked out 2.5 months ago. And now we got the setup in Jackson and Tellerico. Many Republicans felt if John Cornyn could win tonight, that he could be an easy winner over Tellerico. We'll never know that now.
Well, because I believe that Paxton can beat Tellerico.
I don't think it's... Everyone always wants to tell you every 2 years or so, hey, here's where the Democrats are going to win in Texas. They don't win in Texas. All right? Like the days of Ann Richards when they had a governor, when I was growing up who was a Democrat, first off, she was pretty centrist as it is. And the person she went up against, it was Clayton Williams, I believe, and he was just horrible. I don't think that those days really exist any longer.
And that Democrat Party doesn't exist any longer.
Not the same way. And so now... Even MS Now has it as their lead story because it now turns into, well, look at Paxton's scandals. Keep in mind, and I will point this out, and there's some legitimate stuff there, but also Paxton has been so anti-establishment in Texas that the other establishment Republicans in Texas have gone after him.
Let's go.
This is what happens when voters actually get engaged and start taking out the trash that does exist in the GOP and the Senate. Happened in Louisiana. It happened in Texas. Started obviously what happened with Thomas Massey in Kentucky, where he got sideways and suddenly he keeps telling everybody every 2 weeks, I'm going to read the Epstein names. Dude, come on. Like, you were already supposed to do this, right? This is a really good sign that Republican voters are engaged and aren't just going in there and saying, oh, there's the incumbent. Texas was done with Ken Paxton. As much as the rest of the Republican establishment around the country was, we need to keep John Cornyn. He's been in there forever. That's the point.
That's the problem. That's the problem. We want these fools out of there, especially when they don't do anything to get the president's agenda moved forward. They balked on the SAVE Act. Cornyn was part of that. So is John Thune. I hope John Thune's next. I mean, I want him to be next.
I mean, you have Tillis who's already walking away. This is such a good thing.
I agree, man.
This is a great thing
with you.
To have people that are engaged. And I'll tell you, if you want to bring it home, that Trump endorsement does continue to matter. Burt Jones has it.
See what it does here.
Yeah, Rick Jackson picked up Chris Carr as of yesterday.
Yeah.
So, again, we're seeing how the battle lines are being drawn, and at least around the country, we've seen what that endorsement does mean.
You can see here in Georgia, though, it is, I don't want to say establishment, but kind of, versus the Trump candidates. Mike Collins hasn't picked up the Trump endorsement yet, but he's had it before. Burt Jones has it. Greg Dolezal's definitely a Trump guy. I don't know if he has or will get it.
And he'll join us in the 8 o'clock hour today. He'll be in studio with us.
So that's kind of that team. And then on the other side, Rick Jackson, Derek Dooley. It just looks like a clear delineation when you break out some of it, and especially with Chris Carr jumping in for Rick Jackson. It just seems like you can tell the separation there.
And by the way, this is what we talked about when we were going through primary season around here. We talked about how once we get into these runoff situations, we're going to learn even more about these candidates. It's the reason why I said I voted local and I left everybody alone when it came to, if they weren't representing me local, I was like, let me see how it's going to play out. I mean, the last 24, 48 hours, now you've got people showing who they believe that they're going to be and what it's going to take to win the state of Georgia. And in Texas, we found out what loses there.
Yeah, that's right.
Don't side with the Democrats on guns. It's Texas.
Dude, it's crazy.
Don't continue to sit on your hands in the Senate. That's Texas, man.
How about your boy Al Green? He got his cane.
Waving
home.
Waving his cane, walking home.
He's walking home.
Poor Al Green just got his district taken away from him.
Menifee unseats him in the primary. How about that? All right, well, we will continue this conversation on Extra 106.3, 6 o'clock hour, brought to you by Subaru of Gwinnett. The Talk Master, Neil Bortz, joins us next. Download the app to listen live and on demand.
Wherever you are in Georgia, you can stream Extra 106.3 in crystal clear digital with the all-new Extra 106.3 app. Get Extra's live on-air stream in real time, or go back and listen to all your favorite shows, Neil Bortz, or original podcasts, no matter where you go. Grab the Extra 106.3 app now and start streaming.
I'm Patrick Brown, former Army Ranger in the United States Army. Like many service members, I had to make difficult choices when leaving the military, and the most challenging thing was finding purpose in a new phase of life. Housing, employment, education, way too many decisions and no idea where to start. That was until I met the Warrior Alliance. They made it simple. They listened and quickly connected me to the services I needed. And like a trusted friend, they even followed up to make sure I was squared away. Change a veteran's life today by donating at thewarrioralliance.org, helping warriors navigate to success after service.
Hey, this is John Flading. I'm the president and owner of ATL Turf Co. We are a family-owned, operated, independent local company. We have over 15 years of artificial grass design, installation, and sales experience. From premium artificial lawns and backyards, custom putting greens, sports fields, hardscape, drainage. We do both residential and commercial. If you can dream it, we can build it. Just go to atlturfco.com to schedule an appointment.
What is that sound?
It's our rejection detection system. It's showing that several men across Georgia are being denied intimacy by their partners due to ED.
How can this be?
Well, it's more common than you think. As men age, their bodies change. And unfortunately, once they get over 50, some things don't work like they used to.
So what do we do?
There's only one thing to do. We need to get them to Dr. Eric Deal at Total Body Therapy of Georgia. He can fix ED problems.
But how?
At Total Body Therapy of Georgia, they are experts in the P-shot, testosterone replacement, regenerative therapy, and Trimex to create an erection and more.
Hi, this is Dr. Eric Deal from Total Body Therapy of Georgia. Did you know that 50% of men over 50 struggle with some form of ED? Guys, it won't get better on its own. When it's not hard, it's really hard. But I can help you today. Call us at Total Body Therapy of Georgia at 404-777-1911 or learn more about us online at tbtofga.com.
Looking for heavy equipment but don't know where to buy? Purple Wave Auction has you covered. Always online and always no reserve. It's your destination for construction or ag equipment ready to work. We even sell semis, trailers, and fleet equipment for your operation. Best part? It's free to join. Head to purplewave.com. That's purplewave.com. Sign up for a free account and start bidding today. Purple Wave Auction, the easiest and most straightforward way to buy and sell equipment.
Epic parties start at Staples. Now you can grab Party City balloons, decorations, and tableware, plus matching custom invites, banners, and more right at Staples. That was easy.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
It's Wednesday, May 27th, and here are your headlines. President Donald Trump and Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton emerged as the big winners in Texas as the high-profile Republican Senate runoff, with Paxton defeating longtime Senator John Cornyn after receiving Trump's endorsement just days before the election, setting up a closely watched general election matchup in November against Democratic State Representative James Tallarico. Georgia drivers could continue to see gas prices rise throughout summer travel season as tensions in the Middle East and disruptions involving the Strait of Hormuz continue to impact global oil markets, with analysts warning higher diesel prices could also drive up costs across the broader economy, despite Georgia's temporary gas tax suspension that's helping keep prices below the national average. And finally, the Smyrna City Council is considering a proposed $122.7 million budget for the fiscal year of 2027 that will keep the city's millage rate unchanged while increasing spending in the general fund, as leaders continue discussions on long-term comprehensive plans focused on future development, affordability, transportation connections, and growth around downtown Smyrna. Rainfall is expected throughout the morning, with possible thunderstorms in the afternoon. It'll be a high of 85 and a low of 69. With your Extra 106.3 headlines, I'm Bryce Gobert.
The one and only Neil Morris, the talk master. The only place you can hear him on the radio in Atlanta is Extra 106. The one and only Neil Morris, the talk master. The only place you can hear him on the radio in Atlanta is Extra 106.3. And I appreciate you getting up early, Neil Morris. I know you're out and about, so the fact that you took time to spend with us means a whole lot to us. Thank you.
Early?
Early? Is it late? Have I got it backwards?
No, do you think this is early?
Well, I thought your emails.
It's not even 4:30 in the morning where I am.
Well, yeah, that's what that sounds early. Am I wrong? You correct me.
I am west of the Continental Divide.
Okay, all right.
You know what that means?
Yes, yeah, that you're up real early.
That means if my dog went outside and peed, it would end up in Baja California, the Gulf of Baja California.
Yes, sir.
If I had a dog.
What was this obviously a planned trip? But you didn't share any info. You never told us that you're going to be on the road, and then all of a sudden it was
I'll tell you this: I don't know when I'm coming home.
Is it that nice?
Oh, we're Dawn and I sit around talking about where are we going to go next? Where are we going to go next?
I'm just jealous because Los just got back from the DR. You're in a really nice place. Sounds like.
Some of the excitement. Okay. Driving this monster through a hailstorm the other day.
Did you drive the bus?
That happened in West Texas. What'd you say?
You drove the bus?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know. Because Los flew to the DR. I didn't know if you.
Well, I can't drive the bus to the DR.
Well, yeah, of course.
My man can go to California or thereabouts.
Well, I felt like it was. I felt like you were in some maybe more remote place. I guess my mind's just racing, and it's not.
Trust me, some of the places.
Yes.
Some of the places we get are remote.
See, I don't think I sound that crazy, but we're just glad that you took the time.
Well, okay, some of the things that are bothering me after listening to you two.
Well, let me tell you, I've got a list.
It should be a lot. Hold on.
We got a list.
Let me get this thing out here.
Go ahead.
You actually think there's a chance that John Ossoff is going to lose?
No, Neil, that's not what I said. That's not what I said.
That is so laughable.
That's not what I said. I said if we're going to beat him, if we're going to beat him, locking arms with Keisha Lance Bottoms is the end. Neil's not even buying that.
It provides at least an attack opportunity, which beforehand, Neil, my point on this, and this is what I've talked to with some people in the know, because he doesn't really create much of a stir, he doesn't really have a vote where you can circle it and say, wow, that was really damaging. And because he pretty much just votes and doesn't say a word, doesn't show up on network television, it's a hard target to hit.
He's a Democrat.
Yes.
Georgia is going blue.
Oh, God, Neil.
At least in that perspective, it's been blue. We have two Democrat senators.
Keisha Lance Bottoms.
You think she's going to win, too?
I think she has a chance.
Oh, my
Georgia.
God. Neil Boards. Neil.
Now that's the one I'm going to tell you. She ain't got no chance.
What are you drinking, Neil? You've been drinking that water that's bad for us, probably give you diarrhea.
You got Raphael Warnock. John Ossoff, and you don't think there's a chance that a former Atlanta mayor can be the next governor?
I would say that if we don't have the most statistically impossible election in 2020, that maybe we don't have 2 Democrat senators. And if she doesn't get the benefit of that in 2026, I think that we would be looking at a very similar problems. She has more problems than Stacey Abrams did.
Well, I mean,
based on her mayorship of the city of Atlanta.
I mean, Stacey Abrams, a gallon of trizepatide a month couldn't help her. You know, guys, there ain't enough flour.
Yeah. And we can leave it right there.
There's no need to continue on this conversation. But we can say that that Keisha, with all her baggage, letting the city burn down, not finishing her term, letting a child be killed. I don't know how you overcome those, Neil. I mean, I'm just being frank. I don't know how you overcome those.
How do you overcome it in Georgia? You got 2 things going for you. You're black, you're a Democrat. What else do you need to overcome almost anything in Georgia?
There is a large trend right now, and we've seen this nationally. We saw this also as of several years ago when Stacey Abrams was running against Brian Kemp. The biggest problem that they have right now in the country is black men are not voting for black women. And that's the problematic factor when we had the Kemp-Abrams matchup again, and the advertising that we received from the Stacey Abrams campaign was basically a woman telling a young black man how she has to take another, or how he has to take another look at Miss Stacey and consider her accomplishments. That's when I knew they were in massive trouble going into that election.
What accomplishments?
Yeah, and that was the funny part. It was she was able to raise money for this, and at the end of it, Neil, it was, and this is what turns off men, at least younger men, or at least some men, that you had a woman preaching to them in an ad, basically woman-splaining to them about their vote, which is exactly what Kamala Harris was trying to do. That's what Barack Obama was trying to do. That is a problem right now for the black male voter, for them to vote for black women. That's been going across the country for the last 4 to 6 years.
Well, that's one of the real problems with this country right now, is that you are expected, to cast a vote based on skin color instead of ability, ideas, whatever, skin color. If you're black, you have to vote for black. If you don't, you're not really black.
Which is a ridiculous premise to start with.
Well, it is a ridiculous premise, and it's brought us to where? Oh, yeah, here. Now, by the way, guess the state, guys, okay? Guess the state. We have 2 Democrats competing for a congressional seat, and one of their biggest campaign things, mentioned in almost every appearance, they want to make sure that government can seize property from private citizens and use it to pay for men who dress up as women to read stories to kids in government schools.
Please tell me New York.
No.
I mean, I bet you're talking about Democrats. I mean,
Washington.
You're narrowing it to like half the states in the country.
Oh, it's California.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
usual suspects.
Can you imagine? Now, these are Democrats. They say, in our philosophy, it is okay to use. Now, always remember this, guys. Every once in a while, you ought to remind your wonderful listeners out there, there is only one entity in the United States that can use deadly force to accomplish whatever goal it may set for itself, and that is government. Once government sets a course, makes a decision, it can use deadly force to achieve it. Now, under the wonderful world of Democrats believe that what do you call them? These weird women, drag queens.
Oh.
They believe they're not women. Oh, excuse me. They believe that drag queens should read stories to school children in compulsory attendance government schools. Okay? And in order to bring that about, Democrats are willing to use the police power of government to seize money from people who might want to spend that money on something else, maybe medical care, maybe a vacation, maybe to pay down their home loan, maybe repairs for their car, for something that might want that money for something else. Take that money from these people by force and pay it to men who dress up as women to read stories to school children.
I'll give you another example, Neil. And Neil Bortz joins us, the Talkmaster, right here on the Morning Extra. So I was watching a podcast. I was catching like a clip of it, one of those 90-second clips that somebody will do as a promo. And there was a clear trans woman, clearly was formerly a man, is a man, trans woman. And when asked about the amount of care they had gotten, they're like, well, how much did those breasts cost you? Because he clearly had fake breasts. So I didn't pay for them. It's like, what are you talking about? It's like state of Colorado did.
Oh, good.
And all of the treatment this person had, the state of Colorado, the taxpayer, had been paying for that. So in certain states in this country, just as you're talking about in California, where you have people that are fighting for this, they're basically telling the taxpayer, we're going to seize money from you so that this person over here can get fake knockers so they feel better about themselves.
Remember, seize money from you at the point of a gun.
Yes. And by the way, not this young woman has dealt with breast cancer, so this is what we're providing her. No. This is a man who believes they're a woman that you're buying boobs for them in the interest of care.
In the minds of Democrats and a lot of Republicans, I have long championed the idea of politicians should stand up and say, yes, we're going to take this money from you. We're going to spend it on this program. But I honestly believe, and I will sign a pledge that tells you, I believe it is more important we have this money that you earned to spend on this program than it is for you to keep that money and spend it on what you believe to be best for yourself and your family. I actually had a bill introduced like that in the Georgia legislature. It went to a hearing. How far do you think it went past that hearing?
Not very.
Yeah. These guys aren't going to stand up and say that, and they're not going to say it because we don't demand it of them.
Right. We're just having the courage of your conviction, saying, hey, yeah, I'm going to take this money, and here's what I'm spending it on.
We don't confront them at a town hall and say, now, Representative Sternfalter, you recently voted in favor of a bill that spends blah, blah, blah on gay rights or on Drag Queen Story Hour. I could have used that money to pay some medical bills. Tell me why it was more important for you to have that money to spend on I just can't even throw the word out there, Drag Queen Story Hour, than it was for me to have that money to pay for my child's cancer treatments. Tell me that right now, Mr. Congressman, Mr. Representative. We don't have people that will confront them like that. It's disgusting how we allow these government agents to walk into our homes, to walk into our bank accounts, say, give me that money. I have something better to spend it on than you could ever have in terms of your family.
I don't think anybody hates taxes as much as I do, Neil, so I would go to the town hall with you and just raise hell.
Can I give you a ray of sunshine here?
Oh, yes.
At 4:30 in the morning?
That's right. Ray of sunshine.
Well, ray of sunshine for us anyway.
For the Talkmaster. So, was in the Dominican Republic. Wife and I celebrating our 20th anniversary. Met some young people, these people that were in their 20s. And when we started talking about politics, this one person in particular, we started talking about taxation in the state of Georgia because they were from the state of Georgia. And the more she was describing what she thought was the best idea, I was like, well, you're talking about the fair tax. And her face lit up like, oh, you know about it too. And I was like, Neil, I'm telling you, this does resonate with some people that are plugged in with stuff.
Of course
yes, sir.
It does. So you went to the DR for honeymoon?
Went to, we went to Jamaica for our honeymoon 20 years ago, and we'd been to the Dominican Republic, but we went back for the first time in 15 years and spent the last 5 days there.
Yeah, Don and I went to Hawaii.
Oh, very nice.
That is. I've never been there. I always wanted to go.
I live there, so that's
Makes
a
it easier.
But now just remember this: the Hawaiians hate our guts.
Yeah. Where the Dominicans, so
they at least appreciate you.
This was funny. So I was talking to a lot of the bartenders, a lot of the wait staff, and the way they look at it, the difference in a Biden versus Trump administration was that because we're not dealing, now granted, we're dealing with higher gas prices as of right now, but this is a momentary deal. The difference in 9% inflation under Joe Biden versus when we've been at 2.5%, 3% under Donald Trump, they flat out told me more Americans have been down here in the last couple of years than we saw in the previous several years. Yeah. And that was just a very simple way for the Dominicans. The Dominicans are like, clearly your economy is doing better under this guy because we didn't see as many Americans when you had the previous president.
So here, by the way, you hear about the mayor of Minneapolis, who I don't even want to name.
Yeah.
What he said about Memorial Day.
Oh. What a jerk. Did you happen to see Joey Jones' response to that mayor?
No.
Look it up. It's not anything I can read.
Joey Jones from Fox News, let him have it.
And he's a fine man from Northwest Georgia, too. I'd like to point that out. But just when you have a second, look it up because I can't read it on the air. But Joey's really, really measured and calculated and says things, he's just a smart guy. And he thinks things through. He just let Mayor Fry have it.
I mean, we have a day to honor the men and the women who have, in our armed services, have given up their lives, have died in protecting America. And this prepuce, I can't think of a better thing to call him. Look it up. You have. I know you've already looked up that.
Yes, sir, we have.
The mayor of Minneapolis. Today we honor George Floyd, who was murdered on Memorial Day. We honor this thug. The only thing he lacked was apostrophes in his name. It should have been GEO apostrophe GEF apostrophe LOYD. I mean, that's how it's done today. This thug, this menace, this drug addict who died of a fentanyl overdose, people, on Memorial Day, and we honor him on Memorial Day, according to the mayor of Minneapolis. God, that's just so disgusting.
Yeah. And can I give you the flip of that? There was a great story. Woman by the name of Cheryl Ann.
By the way, what is Joe's last name?
Joey Jones.
Oh, yes, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah, Joey Jones.
Johnny Joey Jones, I think it may be spelled out altogether, but that when you look him up. Woman says, named Cheryl Ann, maybe a long shot, but if anybody happens to be in D.C. this weekend or plans on visiting Arlington, I would love to see a fresh photo of my husband's grave, section 60, gave his name and all that. And it was Tulsi Gabbard that saw that tweet. And she said, it was my honor to visit your husband's grave today on your behalf and to pay my respects. And there's a picture of her.
Isn't that nice?
Dude, that made my entire weekend that Tulsi Gabbard took a moment to answer that woman's request on Memorial Day. It was just beautiful. It's what it's supposed to be, the exact opposite of what Mayor Fry did.
I can't agree with her and everything. I don't.
No,
agree
sure.
with
You don't have to.
on
But
everything,
that's awesome.
She's class. She always was.
She is. Yep. Absolutely.
Oh, and then there's Tom Steyer running for governor of California.
Where do I begin?
He says that tranny is that a slur?
Yeah, but listen.
Well, what the hell? It's 4:30 in the morning.
That's right. Nope.
He said that trans must play in sports.
Yes.
With the other girls or the girls, because if they don't, it will worsen their emotional and mental health struggles, and they may commit suicide. They're already up to the eyebrows in emotional and mental health struggles by being trans. They're committing suicide because they're trans, not because they can't play volleyball with girls.
That number, and I think that's an important factor, Neil, that it doesn't matter if they get to play. It doesn't affect the number overall. And that when you start talking about the mood altering, the sex altering drugs, everything else that goes along with it, that still, by the European study, doesn't change the impact of suicide on that group. I mean, the only thing that does is mental health, you know?
They were mentally ill to begin with.
Yes.
You know, I will never forget going to lunch on Cheshire Bridge. I think it was Cheshire Bridge. There was a Mexican restaurant on Cheshire Bridge, and our server, oh boy, our server at that lunch, this is how you remember a lunch, had the most bodacious fun bags you've ever seen, and they were they were hairier than any male wrestler's back.
Oof.
It was some guy. What? And I don't know. It was hard to hold a taco down.
I guess so.
But I tipped him. I tipped him anyway. Oh God, that was just disgusting. And I mean, look, man, if you're going to do this, could you at least put some nair on those things?
The answer was no. Sorry about your
Okay,
luck.
guys, Marco Rubio or J.D. Vance?
Gosh, man, I think J.D. Vance is the heir apparent, but I understand why people say Marco.
Yeah, and from having these discussions with other people, I think everybody realizes that Marco is a very tough one, but you are talking about the precedent of having a president who is a two-time president, and normally the VP steps into that role, but you'd obviously not do that if that's the direction.
What has J.D. Vance done to make himself look better than Marco Rubio?
And well, I think that's a challenge. When you're the vice president, your role is nowhere near as important as the 4 or 5 jobs that Marco Rubio has held under this administration during this time period.
Well,
yeah, I'm with you. I'm like, Marco's done more.
That's exactly right.
Marco's done more stuff.
I think Marco Rubio would make an amazing. I don't agree with everything, but yeah, I think
But
he'd
you don't
make
have
an
to.
amazing president.
Yeah, you don't have to. But do you expect that Marco's going to jump ahead of Vance? Because I don't.
No, I don't think he's going to make a move to do that. I would like to see it done by acclamation.
Yeah,
I would like to see the public influence, the mood of the republic bring about that change. I'm sorry, J.D. Vance just hasn't impressed me yet.
Okay, I mean, you know, he's been. The thing I think I like about J.D. Vance is he's the yin to Trump's yang. Remember, he didn't want Trump to go after
Trump's what?
Well, I was just saying he's the balance.
God,
he's the yin and the yang. You know what I mean? He's the balance.
Okay, yeah, right, okay.
You're trying to make it filthy. It's not.
No, God.
But I just mean
it is to me.
But no, I'm just saying he's the balance to Trump because he didn't want Trump to go after the Houthis in the Red Sea. He's like, let the Europeans do that. That's their backyard. He was opposed to Iran and the strike there, and so I think being able to be the opposition, a healthy opposition, is a good thing.
Well, okay, let's get to Iran.
All right, final thought.
I'm getting disgusted with Trump on that. Well, you know we have a deal. There's a deal coming. It's going to be a great deal. It's going to be one of the best. Like hell, he has a deal. He has nothing. Iran is playing him like a fiddle right now while this ceasefire, so-called ceasefire, goes on and on. They're arming, they're strengthening. They're going to end up winning this conflict. It's going to be all over. We're going to have a new president down the road, maybe a Democrat, who wouldn't swat a fly, a Palestinian fly, whatever. And it's going to be because Trump started listening to the leftist media and caving in. We should be in the process of destroying Iran, destroying the infrastructure of Iran, doing whatever we need to do to get the people of Iran to finally say, I don't care how many of us they murder, we're going to step forward and do something about getting rid of this mad, weirdo regime we have here. When this is over, the Strait of Hormuz is going to be it's going to be shut down. Iran's going to be collecting tolls. They're going to keep their enriched uranium. They're going to continue enriching uranium. And someday down the road, because right now Trump will not follow through because the media scared him, the left scared him. Somewhere down the road, there's going to be a mushroom crowd over Tel Aviv, and it's going to be thanks in part to Trump's inaction right now.
So for me, I think Donald Trump is in this holding pattern. So he knows that the war is, strogging on a little bit, is lagging on, but he doesn't want to destroy all the bridges and the oil infrastructure knowing. Now, I believe if
Why
you're
not?
going...
That's what you do
right,
in a war.
I agree. I think he should be doing those things too, but I don't think he wants to do it because he knows of how long that is going to take to rebuild, and those people are going to suffer underneath what they are left with.
Oh, yeah. Well,
and then you have...
make sure they don't suffer while the mushroom cloud appears above Tel Aviv.
I'm not saying that it's a good decision. I'm telling you what I think he's thinking. That and the Saudis don't want to do this. All of a sudden, the Saudis are making a ton of money on the oil market, and I don't think they want it to come to an end.
That may be so. But
and you're seeing them be wishy-washy. This
is a rabid regime. It's like you have rabid dogs breeding, and they're threatening the neighborhoods. Let's just hold off a bit. Let's just hold off a bit dealing with these rabid dogs. Maybe we can find some way to calm them down. The hell we can.
And I don't know who's in charge. That's the problem. Who are you making a deal with? It's impossible to make a deal with when you don't know who's in charge. I think they have people that are more centrist-minded that are not part of the IRGC.
Revolutionary.
Yeah, the IRGC's in charge, no doubt.
They are in charge.
As long as we're talking about Marco Rubio, he's the one who keeps saying, hey, it's going to take a few more days.
A few more days?
That's what he told us as of the Fox News update, even in the last, hour.
A few more days, 4 months or 3 months ago?
That's what he's pointing out. I'm just saying, if we're going to talk about what Marco's getting done, I mean, he's part of this thing too, Neil.
Well, we've got the forces over there, and no other country is going to make sure that the threat that is Iran and those, what are they, Sunni? I don't know. And those mad Muslims in Iran, no other country is capable of making sure that threat is removed. And we're dragging our feet doing it. Finally, we have a president who followed through on these promises, from Biden, from Clinton, from Hillary, from all of them. Followed through on these promises that Iran is not going to be allowed to have a nuclear weapon. We had a president that was following through on that, and then all of a sudden, the pressure was gone, and the brakes were applied, and here we sit.
So you think, just so we're clear, you think they should, every bit of infrastructure that should be blown away and just be done with it? Because
enough, not every bit, enough.
But
to
what's
show
enough?
that we are serious and we are going to carry this out to the end, and that they get to decide what the end is going to be.
But I mean, how many bridges is enough? How much oil infrastructure is enough? How many
bridges
of the power
do they have?
I assume a lot.
I mean, you sound like these people that
I just want to know.
Go after Sheriff Grady Judd down in Florida. You shot that poor guy 60 times.
I just want to know what are the links?
I just believe that for a society that's built on apocalypse, because that's what they believe brings forth the 12th Iman.
Yeah, give them what they want.
Giving it to them is going to actually play right into what they preach. It almost hardens them into, look, we told you it was going to happen.
They believe it to their souls.
It's a weird dynamic to deal with.
Well, some morning I'm going to wake up and I'm going to hear that our cruise missiles have been launched and the airplanes the jet fighters and the bombers are in the air, and we're taking care of this damn business finally.
We just hit all their vessels overnight trying to lay mines in a bunch of missile sites.
Yeah,
so, but we're not ending a ceasefire.
There you go. That's right.
Let's face it. What have we learned today, ladies and gentlemen? Neil Bortz is not a nice guy.
But we love you anyway. And we love having y'all, Neil.
And 20-year-old women are talking about the fair tax and pools in the Dominican Republic, Neil.
That's a good thing.
Oh, that is.
Neil Bortz is the talk master here on Xtra 106.3. Thank you, Neil.
Guess what I'm doing right now?
I don't know what.
going right back. By God.
Go to bed. Go to bed.
Yeah.
Tug and Los until 10 on Extra 106.3. Gotta love old Neil Board. So when we come back here on Extra, 6 o'clock hours brought to you by Subaru of Gwinnett. An attempt to pretend, just act like the border wasn't intentionally opened under Joe Biden. Next on Extra.
Extra 106.3 Sports, powered by 680 The Fan.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Wednesday, May 27th. The Atlanta Braves opened up the road trip with a 7-6 victory in Boston last night over the Red Sox. Michael Harris went 4 for 4, including an 8th-inning homer, his 12th of the season. Game 2 goes down tonight. It'll be Bryce Elder on the mound. He'll be opposed by Connolly early. First pitch is set for 6:45. You can hear all the game action on our sister station, 680 The Fan, and for free on the Fan app. From the NHL, the Las Vegas Golden Knights will play for Lord Stanley's Cup as they swept the Colorado Avalanche out of the playoffs, including a 2-1 victory last night. Tonight, the Montreal Canadiens host the Carolina Hurricanes. Carolina does lead that series 2-1. Puck drops at 8 o'clock. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
Are you paying too much in taxes? Most people are, and they don't even realize it. Hi, I'm David Nicholas, president of Nicholas Wealth Management. Every year, hardworking individuals and business owners send more money to the IRS than they legally have to. I hate to see it. Not because they did anything wrong, but because the tax code is complex. It's always changing, and it's full of opportunities most people never hear about. So here's the real question. Could you be paying less in taxes? With the right strategy, many people can. Through smarter planning, overlooked deductions, and better retirement and income decisions, you can win in retirement. That's why we're offering a complimentary tax analysis. No cost, no obligation, just a clear look at where you may be overpaying and what you can do about it. Stop guessing, get answers. Call Nicholas Wealth Management 678-990-8500, 678-990-8500, or visit nicholaswealth.com.
Nicholas Wealth Management is an independent financial services firm. This is for informational purposes only and is not specific investment advice.
This is Tom, the honest car guy, and we got a surprise call in from a customer of ours, Travis, out in Jefferson, Georgia. Travis, good to hear from you, buddy. You want to tell a little bit about the experience you had with me at the honest car guy?
The whole experience, honestly, was one of the smoothest car experiences that we've ever gone through, meaning that there's no pressure. There's no runaround. It's just straight up honest service. The price that you guys present or find for you, that's what you are going to pay. And you just get a great deal. I've been educated to a newer process of the car dealership game. You guys have not come in and you're setting the benchmark for how car dealing and car buying and car selling really should be.
Friends, if you're in the market for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. You pay what we pay, plus an honest fee, and we back that up by giving you the bill of sale. That's our transparency guarantee. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME-1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
Just 15 miles from downtown Atlanta, there's a place where the game feels the way it was meant to. Welcome to Wolf Creek Golf Club in Southwest Atlanta. Long before the first tee shot was struck, this land, 250 acres of rolling hills and quiet wetlands, was a natural escape. In 2001, 2 Georgia Tech grads saw its potential and built a course that works with the land, not against it. Wolf Creek winds through trees, elevation changes, and scenic water, creating a true golfer's golf course. This isn't just another round. It's a test of strategy, of patience, of skill, and yet it's open to everyone. Whether you're booking your next public tee time or ready to elevate your game with membership options, Wolf Creek delivers a pure golf experience. Wolf Creek is now under new ownership, upgrading the course and clubhouse facilities, and with new head pro Don Tracy. Play it, experience it, belong to it. Visit wolfcreekgc.com to book your round or call 404-344-1334 to learn more. Wolf Creek Golf Club, Atlanta Golf, the way it should be.
I'm telling you, if they want everybody's vote over 64, 65 and say, no more property taxes if you're 65.
Yeah.
No, none. You paid yours. You've done your share.
The Kimmer Show every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Tug and Los on Extra 106.3. Halfway through this work week. Oh, so great. If we can get rid of some of this rain because my son's Jeep's leaking and there's trees falling all around the neighborhood. We had
just cool parent stuff.
Yeah, that's
trees
all.
falling, Jeep is leaking.
Yeah, it's little things like that.
Bryce's Bluetooth won't work.
That's the biggest issue.
Yeah, your Bluetooth. Well, I don't think Jacob's.
Well, I
Bluetooth's
mean, for
working
Bryce.
right now. Yeah, for Bryce. But
If you got a tree falling in your yard,
but yeah,
your
that's the
biggest
next
issue.
level. That's the next level, especially those big old trees. And that's the thing. We're supposed to get rain for like, I think Thursday. I glanced at the weather yesterday. Just on my phone app, and I think it said it's not going to rain Thursday, but it rains today, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then we may get a reprieve on Tuesday.
Tomorrow there's a 24% chance. That's the highest.
Okay, so that was more than it was yesterday. But
it'll be 85 too tomorrow, so it actually might be a nice day.
Big time. Let's go. I'm just, I feel like we need to start building an ark or something because it ain't never going to. I know we need it. That's the thing. I'm not trying to say we don't need it. I know we do because I drive by Lake Lanier and, there's boats sitting on the on the ground.
I get to do my old man thing though.
What's that?
Oh, I mean, my yard needs it.
Yeah, that's right, and it probably does. But
everything's green now.
Yeah, everything is. Can we dial back?
We're good there.
Can we dial back?
Just don't go swimming in the Chattahoochee.
No. It's the E.
coli.
E. coli. Yes, there we go. Nobody wants any of that. I mean,
nobody's a fan of E. coli
or Ebola for that matter. Which was people were getting asked about as Los was coming home from the Dominican.
You mean Juan Carlos?
Juan Carlos,
yes,
who got pulled out of line. That's right.
Wanted to make sure I wasn't some international terrorist.
That's right. Well, you got to, because the Biden administration left the doors open for 4 years. And as a matter of fact, Alejandro Mayorkas, he was talking with Politico magazine. He said, the Biden administration should have ramped up that border control sooner. And I was like, who are you trying to kid, dude? Who are you trying to convince of this? It's an attempt to pretend that they didn't open the border completely on purpose, Los.
And Mayorkas was also the guy who went in front of, it was either Congress or the Senate, and flat out told them, no, it's closed.
Yeah. Don't believe your eyes.
No, it's not.
Don't believe your eyes and ears. It's closed. It's good. There was never a consideration of closing. And as they told you, it was secure over and over. Remember, they used bulldozers to lift the razor wire so more people could get in.
That Texas, as a state,
yeah,
who claimed that they should be able to defend their own border, and yet the Biden administration used the supremacy clause to tell them, no, that's our job.
And how about the mainstream media? They went right along with it. They told you the only person, whether you like Fox or not, and there's some things about Fox is fine, but I know Los and I have MS Now on in the studio. We watch crap, so you don't have to. And rarely ever partake in anything Fox News unless it's something that pops up on social media, a clip here or there. But just to sit down and watch, I don't think either of us do. Aside from Bill Maloogian, everybody went along with it like it was just normal. Yeah, man, everything's good. There's nothing more than him trying to retell this story so Democrat voters will think it was a mistake, and now they're brave enough and trustworthy enough to trust again because they're telling the truth. We should have done a little something extra. We probably should have done that. But remember, it's always about power, the census, apportionment, and representation in Congress. As you know, they are completely against any sort of deportations. They need those numbers and they need those votes. So when you think about the election coming up, that's all you need to think about. That's what all you need to know because that's what it's all about. And it's what it'll always be about. And they're going to still fight for it. There's a reason there was a riots in front of the DHS jail in New Jersey. They're having to put people in cop cars because they're there. And now we know that this is all laid out and paid for. I mean, you had Hassan Piker basically explained
as far as your Chinese influence and your leftist organizations that are funding all of this.
Every bit of it. It's not America doesn't have a hard left lean.
No, this is a complete. What did Nancy Pelosi call it back in 2010? This is AstroTurf.
Yes,
this is not grassroots.
That's right, 100% correct. She was correct. Probably not in what she was talking about, but in this context.
How do you like the recall on that one?
That was good, man. That's a good poll. That's a good poll. Jackson Dart feels the wrath of The View and those leftist politics. Next on Xtra 1063.
The Morning Xtra Neil Bortz, and The Kimmer Show are all online for you anytime at thepodcastpark.com. Plus all of Extra's exclusive podcasts like Ben Burnett, Janelle King, and so much more. All at thepodcastpark.com. Presented by Associated Credit Union.
Hey guys, it's Clay Travis. The Kimmer's back on the air in Atlanta every afternoon from 3 to 6, only here on Extra 106.3.
The Morning Extra. Glenn Beck, Clay and Buck, and The Kimmer Show on WFOM and W292 EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. Extra 106.3.
Bill Cassidy, Thomas Massey, now John Cornyn. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. A third Republican lawmaker primaried out by a Trump-backed challenger in 10 days.
I trust the voters of Texas, and they've made their decision, and I must respect it.
Senator John Cornyn lost the Republican primary runoff in Texas by almost 28 points, a week after the president endorsed Ken Paxton, the state attorney general.
Texas will be the radical left's #1 priority. But if there's one thing I know about Texans, is that we're not going to let them take it.
Paxton will face Democrat James Tallarico in November. In Democrat runoffs in Texas, Congressman Al Green lost in a redrawn House district to fellow Congressman Christian Menefee. Green's a longtime Trump critic who was removed from the State of the Union address for protesting the president's speech.
And controversial Democratic candidate Maureen Galindo lost her primary runoff to Johnny Garcia in the 35th Congressional District. Galindo was accused of anti-Semitism for floating a plan to imprison, quote, American Zionists at an ICE detention center.
Fox's Madeline Rivera. President Trump will gather with his cabinet later this morning as the negotiations continue trying to work out a deal to end the Iran conflict as Israel keeps going after Iran-backed militants, killing the leader of Hamas's armed wing in Gaza days after killing his predecessor, as Israeli forces also keep targeting Hezbollah in Lebanon.
Iran hopes the broader ceasefire will undermine the current efforts between Israel and Lebanon aimed at weakening Hezbollah. Overnight, the IDF launched a series of airstrikes in southern Lebanon as ground forces are advancing deeper into Hezbollah territory.
That's Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv. 9 people still unaccounted for at a Washington state paper mill where a giant chemical tank imploded, sending corrosive liquid gushing.
Due to the instability of the site, some areas remain inaccessible at this time.
Longview Fire Battalion Captain Matt Amos. In addition to the 9 missing, 1 person killed, 9 injured. America's listening to...
If you want unlimited talk, text, and data on a crazy fast network, Big Wireless will sell it to you right now for as little as $70 a month. Or you can buy it from Pure Talk for half of that. I'm talking about unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data for just $34.99 a month. Stop paying the big guys twice what you need to. Dial pound 250, say my name. That's pound 250 micro to switch to Pure Talk, where the savings are truly unlimited.
Born on America's darkest day, 9/11/01, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation has been helping American heroes ever since. Heroes like FDNY Lieutenant Edward J. McDonough Jr. McDonough served at Ground Zero. He later lost his life to a related cancer. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation was able to honor his sacrifice by paying off the family's mortgage. Donate $11 a month, and you can amplify your impact with a car or land donation. Just go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org.
Want weather? Grab your phone. Need traffic? Grab your phone. Conservative news and talk, also on your phone. Get the Extra 106.3 app.
Probably the best rain song of them all. One of the greatest songs of all time. Purple Rain. Prince.
I never meant to call you.
And remember, he did his last shows here in Atlanta before heading back home, and that's when he passed. Did 2 shows at Fox. One of the greatest of all time, greatest Super Bowl halftime of all time, probably.
For me,
yeah, it's up there. If not, you couldn't argue that it's not the top 2 or 3.
I mean, the famous line from it is, because it's pouring. Now, like, what are we going to do? Because he could get electrocuted. It's like, what he needs to do? Make it rain harder.
Yeah, right. Here's good, man. Unbelievable. And then, with Chappelle's show, doing the Prince skits were so funny. Prince would beat you in basketball and feed you breakfast. It's just
Feed your pancakes.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous and funny.
it's a joke. Oh, what are we playing? Shirts versus blouses. The way that Charlie Murphy would tell those stories,
Dude.
he's like, and they're still wearing the same stuff they were wearing at the club.
Yeah, right. What was it Charlie Murphy? Charlie Murphy, True Hollywood Stories. I can get it all out. Oh, so the late great. God rest his soul.
Yeah.
Charlie Murphy.
Those are very funny stories.
Yeah,
they're genius stories.
Yeah, absolutely were. And he hit me with it in my face with a ring, and it said Unity. Look at the mirror.
The fact that Rick James was still around, because remember, Rick was like getting near the end of it. Yeah. Like that heart wasn't really enjoying what he did during that time period. But to know that they were able to get Rick James to take part in it and corroborate the story.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug. He was like, no, I didn't.
Rub my feet on anybody's couch?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I rubbed my feet on his couch. Why'd you do that? Because Eddie could afford another one.
Yeah, that's right. F your couch. So good, dude. God. Wednesday, halfway through the work week here on the Morning Xtra on Xtra 106.3. So glad that you're here. And if you have good memories like that, that you want to dive into, 404-741-1230 at Xtra 106.3 across the social media platforms. Great to see the Braves get a win last night. Got down early 2-0, and then to come back. And, dude, that Michael Harris home run.
Yeah, that was clutch.
Dude, he went down and got, but that's the crazy thing, man. To go down and get it, and nobody thought it was out of the park, and it just kept sailing.
He just had a night. I mean, going 4 for 4.
It's ridiculous.
You know, he had the big double that put him ahead.
Yep.
I thought, okay, maybe that's all he needs for the night. No. And no, I'll bust one out of the park, too.
I don't know. I'm still in wait-and-see mode. You know, Austin Riley had the triple last night, too. And I'd watched just a segment of our friend Matt Chernoff down the hall, and he was talking about Austin Riley being just kind of an average player. He's like, maybe that's what he is. You know, he got off to this huge start, and Matt laid out all the evidence for it and did such a great job. And then he breaks your heart going, maybe it's just he's kind of an average player. And then he gets the triple last night. I don't know if that was just to rub it in Matt's face. I don't know what was going on there. But I don't want Austin Riley to be just an average player because, you know, you have such belief in him.
Well, he's been a top 10 vote getter in MVP.
That's
and
right.
He was doing that early on in his career. And so you always wonder when guys get banged up, what does it take out of them?
Yeah.
And you see where he can get as hot as anybody. So it's just kind of a matter of like, listen, you can have is this going to be a 220 season or is this going to be a 275 season? Because I'd really like to see him get it. I know batting average is antiquated, but it does show
It's just a good indicator.
What kind of season you're having when you're putting the ball in play and making things happen.
Dude, I love it. I don't want him to be just the average guy. I want him to be the of course, because I'm a Braves fan. That's what all Braves fans want. But let me tell you, Matt made a very compelling argument. I saw it on the I believe 680 Twitter page.
I don't mean to downgrade any of my brethren over down the hall, but as a former pitcher, if you tell me I get to face a bunch of 220 hitters versus a guy that's batting 285, give me the 220 guys all day long. You'd be like, well, what's the big? Because that means they're on base more.
Yeah,
that means they're typically on base more, which results in more runs.
That's right. And especially if you can get them on base and have some of those big bats coming up, just those where it's not just a solo home run. It's actually, let's do some damage kind of home runs. Those are what you're looking for, man. You know, because you can put up with a solo home run here or there.
Sure.
Does it suck? Yes, of course it does. And you know, whatever, especially if you're, you know, playing away and, you know, the crowd kind of gets back into it a little bit after they had been quiet most of the night. So, you can deal with those solos. But
if you go back to the era of Moneyball, and we're talking, you know, now 20 years ago.
Seems crazy that that's the case.
Now it's prevalent throughout all of baseball. Mm-hmm. But the very start of it was a discussion of on-base percentage and that who gets on base more. Well, I mean, he doesn't. What is it? That guy only hits singles. Well, that's fine. He's on base.
Good.
And then, well, I mean, that guy draws a lot of walks. Good. He's on base.
That's exactly right, man.
On base percentage was the start of that statistical revolution where the more people you have on base, the more runs you're scoring.
I think that's the reason my son got to play college baseball or gets to play college baseball. That right there. He's not going to hit a bunch of home runs. He almost hit one last year. You know what I mean? but he was on base a ton, draws a bunch of walks, singles and doubles hitter, and is always on base. I think what you just laid out is the reason he gets to play college baseball right there. Morning Extra and Extra 106.3. Let's get to the first thing to know, and it stays with sports.
They want you awake, informed, and ready to fight for the facts of the day in the land of the free. Now your sleepyhead nature needs your wake-up call. A mighty dose of reality coming in strong. Soon as the sun cracks the horizon so high, man, we got the story, no time for a lie.
I love this guy.
Put a boot in your ass, courtesy
Oh, yes. Welcome to the Morning Extra in the 7 o'clock hour. Let's get into this because over the weekend, you had the New York Giants quarterback, Jackson Darton. Listen, we were busy. It was a holiday weekend.
Sure.
And it really didn't move the needle for me. He was asked to introduce President Trump. And I don't care if it's President Trump, if it's President Biden, if it's President Obama. If I was asked,
it's an honor.
It's an honor. Yet, there's this warped sensibility. The caricature that they've built of Donald Trump means that, well, you have to stay away. Well, let me tell you, in the NFL, most of those owners vote for Donald Trump, and most of those players vote for Donald Trump. This is not some sort of foreign concept. In fact, when you go through most professional sports, places where production matters and how you end up receiving compensation depends on wins and losses, they tend to not vote Democrat.
Seems like you're talking about meritocracy there.
Kind of
you're alluding to.
I'm alluding to the meritocracy. Well, the meritocracy doesn't apply to The View because remember, you don't even have to get stuff right.
they get it wrong.
You just get it wrong, and then you have a producer hand you a piece of paper, and then you read the right answer. Just how it goes. So this is The View talking about Jackson Dart, who again, all he did was introduce the president at his appearance, which made, even in his own locker room, Abdul Carter, who put it out on X. Apparently they had a talk, and Abdul Carter was like, no, it's good. We're good here. First off, you had 4 sacks last year, Abdul Carter. You don't get to say S about what the starting quarterback is doing.
Yeah, right.
The team took in the first round. Yeah. All right? You don't get to say nothing. All right? Go get you 12 sacks, then maybe you might have a point. Until then, silencio.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. It's the best policy.
Pipe down, sir.
So here is The View talking about the situation.
I don't know what all that was. But some people were not happy with Dart's open political endorsement. I mean, isn't he entitled to his...
It's America.
He's entitled to his thing.
For somebody to back a guy like Trump, whose history in discrimination and racism goes back to housing discrimination.
In the 70s.
Yeah. In the 70s, DEI attacks, and posting pictures of the Obamas as apes. When he's on a team that's 55% to 60% the NFL, is that many people, that much percentage of black people, blacker. That is just the definition of stupidity and racist, in my opinion.
Good thing your opinion doesn't matter for much.
Good thing it doesn't matter, because let me tell you what goes on in a locker room. A ton of racism. Comedic racism. In fact, the locker room is like the best place. Because you make jokes at everyone, and you know what happens? Nobody takes it personally at all.
Can I tell you the Navy was the same way?
Yeah.
Dude, in the living quarters of the ship, man, people be giving each other the riot act and just giving each other such a hard time, and nobody took it personal.
And no one gets bothered by this. In fact, it's interesting that Joy Behar in her world, like, this is oh my God, this is a horrible thing.
Mm-hmm.
If she was to ever find herself in a Giants locker room after a practice, she would be shocked at what gets discussed in there and what the conversations are.
Yeah.
Shocked.
And these are the same people, Los, that if somebody was kneeling during the national anthem, that they would celebrate. These are the same people that do all of that stuff. When, as long as it's leftist politics, they're fine with it. If you have an NBA player that is, spouting off leftist politics, they would celebrate it. That's who they are. That's what they do. So that's where shut up and dribble came from, you know, because it's all the time. And they just And the thing about Jackson Dart is, like, he physically just said, hey, here's the president.
Here's the president, yeah.
He didn't spout any politics. He just said, here the man is.
Yeah, that was not a scenario where he gave a stump speech
but
for 5 or 10 minutes.
But for the people that didn't see it, if you listen to Joy Behar, she acted like that's what he did.
One of the funniest things I saw last night, because I've been following all of the fallout of the Kevin Hart roast, which, bear in mind, I watched every minute of it from start to finish.
And Kevin Hart has defended.
And to see people that were on X that were talking, they were all panties in a wad over George Floyd jokes, which there was one. And it was a good one.
Yeah, it was.
It's like he's staring up at you and he's laughing so hard he can't breathe. Funny. What I find interesting is most of the people that are complaining about it in the next sentence will tell you, well, I didn't watch it. I wouldn't spend my time watching.
Yeah.
Then you don't get
an opinion.
What's going on.
Yeah.
You don't get the humor. What you did get is 90 seconds that upset you.
Yeah.
You didn't watch 3 hours of no-holds-barred great comedy.
And I'm be the first to tell you, I watched a little bit of it, clips here and there. I'm not going to watch 3 hours of it. The stuff that I've seen is really funny.
It's funny.
Yeah.
Comedy shouldn't have these limits, and nor should you. And one person on that panel actually said, well, he's an American. Yeah. He has the freedom to actually go and introduce the president.
Maybe Sonny was the person that said that. Whomever said it.
And very shyly, like, I'm going to say this.
Yeah, he's like waiting to be attacked because she said it.
And as I started this conversation, and Tug and I both agree, if President Obama, who I think is a stain on this society, the venom and the vitriol that he integrated into American politics, if he asked me to introduce him in Atlanta, I'd be like, all right, it's the president.
Still the president, yeah. Well,
it's still an honor.
Here's the other thing. Like,
even though I think he's an awful person.
Can I give you another small example? When we were at the Braves game, it was at Turner Field. My son and his little buddy, Carter, was with us. I don't know. They were probably 10 years old, something like that. We see President Carter and Rosalynn. And they're close enough that we walk over and say, Mr. President, could we get a picture with our son and you and our son? And this is his buddy. His name's Carter. And Jimmy Carter's like, oh, that's a great name. Love that. I think Jimmy Carter was a terrible president. Yeah. I think he was a good man. I think he was a terrible president. But to have the opportunity to have a picture of my son with the president of the United States of America, I took that opportunity and happily posted it on social media as a card-carrying conservative.
If I had the opportunity where you're going to say, listen, you get to sit at a poker table and have drinks and play poker with somebody.
Freaking Bill Clinton.
I'm like, Clinton or give me W. Either one of them.
Could you imagine the stories?
Yeah.
Can you imagine just the exchanges and the things that you might bring up that they would elaborate on, and you would have those memories, that moment for the rest of your life? Dude, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
That's a huge deal.
But when you're on The View,
yeah, you can't be.
You can only see the world in one very narrow way.
Why? I just don't understand why. You'll never give me the ability to understand their point of view because I don't get it.
But if they were playing a role, I think eventually there would be like some cracks in the armor. No, I think they're all foolish and they all view this in this way.
Fair enough.
Where like you always hear, and I know, I'm trying to remember who was it that was bringing it up. I think it was Stephen A. Smith, where he was talking about being on a cable news show and then having the two combatants having dinner that night. And he was like, well, that was like really enlightening to me that they just went at it and had completely different political views. And then they're having dinner. I'm like, well, that's the way it's supposed to be.
Well, Scott Jennings has talked about that.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
Having dinner with Van Jones afterwards.
Yeah.
He was like, we go at each other hard. And he's actually my friend.
Right.
We just see things differently. I love that point of view. I wish the entire world was like that. Be a whole lot less war. If you could just got along.
But what you're getting, what's being espoused by The View, is you shouldn't have any association to anyone else.
But that's where the political
chicken head mentality.
That's right. But that's where the political violence comes from. Because
that's how it starts. That's a vitriol.
Right. It's just a little kernel, and then you hear it again, and then you hear it again, and then you go over to MS Now and you hear it a lot. That builds Just that thought process. And I refuse to have it. I'm not going to have it. People come on the show, whether I agree with them or not. I'm going to be respectful and, vehemently disagree with them on their points of view, but I don't hate them. And I don't think people in our audience hate the other side. I can't say that for The View. Well, I don't know that about The View.
Well, I always point it out. Oh, no, they hate you. Your ability to be conservative means you're mature and you're compassionate. You don't hate them back, but also understand they are your enemy.
Oh, yeah.
You have to beat them.
Yeah.
You have to beat them with your vote.
That's right.
At every opportunity you get. And by the way, that includes those on the GOP side. Who really don't like. Now, I don't know if they hate you, but they really don't like you.
Yeah, they might not send anybody. They might not send a shooter to your house, but they despise you too.
Yes, even last night watching how that everything played out with John Cornyn. I mean, right now all he's thinking about is those damn conservatives around me.
They did it. It's their fault. It's not my fault because I'm smarter.
Yeah, exactly.
I know more.
I know more. I've been in the Senate.
And what was there? Oh, I wish I had flagged the post. There was something. I don't know if it's a politician or a writer, but they talked about conservatives kicking out another senior member of the Senate.
Good.
Exactly right.
Great. Thank you for getting off your hands.
That's right.
And getting after it in the same way that we congratulated this audience and everybody around to make sure that the state Supreme Court didn't go partisan, namely didn't move to the Democrats. Good. You got off your hands and you just went after it and got after it with your vote. That's what you have to do because, quite honestly, there are more of us than there are of them. That's the words they won't get into. Yeah, they're going to have their places on the coast where they will have, in some cases in California, that right now they're looking like it could go either way when it comes to their governor. And that's why you have them talking about changing their state constitution.
Yeah, right. We can't allow this.
Yeah, New York, you're like...
Those authoritarians.
But there are more of us than there are of them. They are a fringe party, and they have been. And now that they don't have the money... Now they can't hit you with all of this stuff to make them look bigger than they are.
And they're pissed.
Yeah.
And they're pissed about it. Morning Extra and Extra 106.3, Mom Donnie is inviting Minneapolis-style fraud to the city of New York. Talk about that next on Extra 106.3. Thank you for being here.
The Morning Extra, Neil Bortz, and The Kimmer Show are all online for you anytime at thepodcastpark.com. Plus all of Extra's exclusive podcasts like Ben Burnett, Janelle King, and so much more. All at thepodcastpark.com. Presented by Associated Credit Union.
The warm air, the beautiful weather, and the sounds of baseball. It's got you thinking about hitting the road. And no matter where your adventures take you, Subaru of Gwinnett has a vehicle to get you there safely and in style. Like the 2026 Subaru Outback, which will take you as far as you want to explore with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive plus up to 32 miles per gallon. And if you're up for adventure, it'll get you off the beaten path with up to 9.5 inches of ground clearance. More than the Honda CR-V or Toyota RAV4 or the 2026 Subaru Forester, the SUV for all you love. It's the right-sized SUV for all the adventures ahead with a spacious and comfortable interior for everyone you want to bring along. And no matter where adventure takes you, it starts on Satellite Boulevard in Duluth with the amazing staff at Subaru of Gwinnett. They'll help you find the Subaru that you'll love and be there every step of the way for everything you need. Start your shopping online at SubaruofGwinnett.com.
I'm Patrick Brown, former Army Ranger in the United States Army. Like many service members, I had to make difficult choices when leaving the military, and the most challenging thing was finding purpose in a new phase of life. Housing, employment, education, way too many decisions and no idea where to start. That was until I met the Warrior Alliance. They made it simple. They listened and quickly connected me to the services I needed. And like a trusted friend, they even followed up to make sure I was squared away. Change a veteran's life today by donating at thewarrioralliance.org, helping warriors navigate to success after service.
Fox on Tech.
A California jury found that Meta and YouTube harmed a young girl with addictive features that led to mental health issues. Many are hoping this will open the gates to many more lawsuits and for bipartisan calls to change or let lapse Section 230. Section 230 has been around for 30 years and shields big tech companies from liability for what users post online. Many argue it has become outdated compared to the rapid growth of social media. Senator Dick Durbin posted, quote, "These back-to-back decisions in New Mexico and California show that big tech has become big tobacco. Now it's time for Congress to sunset Section 230 once and for all." Some of those efforts have faced intense pushback from industry groups that argue ending 230 could lead to censorship. With Fox on Tech, Connor Hansen, Fox Business.
Bullet points.
I'm Evan Brown. Anybody who was waiting for their carry permit in Florida now has either their approval or denial. Florida's concealed weapon and firearm licenses are issued by the state's Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services. The state is known for its shall issue status, and pending your background check and fingerprint submission, you're likely to get your license in Florida. Florida Ag Commissioner Wilton Simpson now says his office has cleared their backlog of 30,000 pending applications. It's interesting to note that people still want their Florida concealed carry license. The state no longer requires one for concealed carry. It issues them for residents who might need them in other states. Florida residents with the license can skip wait periods when purchasing firearms. And Florida's Supreme Court ruled last year the state's ban on open carry was unconstitutional. And those are your bullet points. I'm Evan Brown, Fox News.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
It's Wednesday, May 27th, and here are your headlines. President Donald Trump and Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton emerged as the big winners in Texas' high-profile Republican Senate runoff, with Paxton defeating longtime Senator John Cornyn after receiving Trump's endorsement just days before the election, setting up a closely watched general election matchup against Democratic State Representative James Tallarico in November. Georgia drivers could continue seeing rising gas prices through the summer travel season as tensions in the Middle East and disruptions involving the Strait of Hormuz impact global oil markets. With an analyst warning higher diesel prices could also drive up costs across the broader economy, despite Georgia's temporary gas tax suspension helping keep prices below the national average. And finally, the Smyrna City Council is considering a proposed $122.7 million budget for the fiscal year of 2027 that would keep the city's millage rate unchanged while increasing spending in the general fund as leaders continue to discuss long-term comprehensive plans focused on future development, affordability, transportation connections, and growth around downtown Smyrna. Rainfall is expected through the morning with possible thunderstorms in the afternoon. It'll be a high of 85 and a low of 69. With your extra 106.3 headlines, I'm Bryce Gobert.
I understand where the people in Charlotte are coming from. I was just reading at Axios that Charlotte, North Carolina is the fastest growing city in America. And the people that live in Charlotte kind of have the same mentality that we do here in Atlanta. We're full. Y'all gonna have to stay where you are. We're out of room. We don't need anybody else moving to Charlotte. You can come visit, maybe do it, go to the NASCAR Hall of Fame, whatever it is you want to do in Charlotte. But you can't stay. You got to go back home. And I think, cities across the South are kind of feeling this. There's Fort Mill, South Carolina falls into this. Population jumped almost 7%. It's about 20 miles from Charlotte. So you're just seeing people move in mass out of the Northeast and out west, particularly California. And it's probably not the California folks that are coming. I bet there's a few not coming to Charlotte. It's mainly in the people in the Northeast, because I think I had seen a stat. This was last year, but it falls right into this, where the number one city or state that people were moving to North Carolina from was New York, and it outdid any of the states that actually border North Carolina.
The interesting part for me is that Charlotte is actually worried about conservatives coming in there.
Yeah, well, there is a little bit of that. Definitely the city council.
That's what they're concerned about.
Definitely the
They're
city
like,
council.
no, none of you come down here and turn this place red.
Yeah, that's right. We want to stay far away from it.
I still remember, and this was the 2021 football season, when Georgia opened up against Clemson in Charlotte. And once again, you had that entire city looking around at every Georgia fan and every person who had been living in Georgia for the previous year, Like, these people are all crazy. They won't even wear masks.
I know, right? How could they?
What's wrong with them?
I know, dude. It's so sad what they've done up in North Carolina. But, yeah, the fact that people are moving, just crazy amounts of people, just drives me crazy. Because I see it around here, too, man. I've seen it. I've said it a million times. Anytime I see a New York, Maryland, Ohio, if I see tags from anywhere, I'm like, oh, my God, we're full. I feel like I turn into Kimmer. Oh, my God, y'all got to go back. You can't stay here. It's just fascinating to see how the South was made fun of for the entirety of my life, for the most part. And now everybody wants to come here.
Of course.
Everyone, even down. But look, let's think about this part of it. My wife grew up in New York, didn't care about college football at all. It just never paid attention. When we got married, the only thing I said is, look, you already have a baseball team, or you got a pro football team, you cheer for all of them all you want to. You don't have a college team. Now you do. Like, the only way that this marriage will ever teeter is if you cheer against Georgia. And if you do, you better find I-81 real quick.
We call this authoritarian, Tug.
I'm fine with it.
You root for this team. You put on this shirt.
That's right. And you talk back, you'll hear from my lawyer soon. I love it.
I will cut you loose.
That's right.
You look at me.
Yeah.
Who's the captain now?
That's right. And pardon me. And don't you forget it either. But that takes me to why maybe people are fleeing places like New York. I want you to hear from Zoran Mamdani. This guy's, I mean, what a piece of work. You get what you vote for. Yesterday, he started his, we're going to take private property and give it to the people. But I want you to focus on the wording, because everybody knows that's socialism, communism. We already know that. But I want you to listen to the wording and see if something stands out to you like it did me in the wording that he used. Listen.
When necessary, we will take aggressive legal action to remove negligent owners and property managers. And for buildings that have suffered chronic neglect, we will work to transfer ownership to responsible stewards. Stewards that include community land trusts, nonprofits.
There's the word.
Nonprofits.
There it is again.
Or even the tenants themselves.
So this dude, he singled out nonprofits twice, and I don't think he meant to do it necessarily. It was just, he was the way he was speaking, the pace, this, whatever it was. But I do believe there's something to that. I wonder if that nonprofit, that when they take over the buildings and the money coming in from, I wonder if that could be misused or opened up to fraud at all. Because I'm thinking probably so. It's always packaged so nicely. This is for the people, but not all people, just the perpetual victims. So you got that part of it, the socialism, communism part of it, but then the nonprofit, because that opens it up to the fraud that you're seeing in places like Minneapolis, places like California, all over the dadgum country. Matter of fact, if you listen to J.D. Vance, who did a press conference yesterday about 2 o'clock, talking about some of the fraud that they were cracking down on, this is going to open the door wide open for more fraud, because anytime the government's involved, Los, fraud magically appears.
Let me tell you the way I heard it, because it stunk of communism. For instance, when communists will always do this, they'll create an enemy, they'll define the enemy, and then they'll tell people how they'll use the power of government to go after the enemy. So, for instance, I would say, Tug Cowart just created an enemy. How am I defining my enemy? Oh, he's white, and he's Christian.
He owns his building.
And he served in the Navy. Mm-hmm. And I say, he's a danger to America. That's why you're voting for me, so I can make sure that danger doesn't visit you. Well, what did they do there? They loosely, when the time, if we have to. No, it's always defining what's the problem. You're basically creating a situation. You're defining basically private property as the problem, and then saying we'll use the power of government to take it away. And by the way, as you said, nonprofits, all I heard was, and then it'll sit under the government and the taxpayers will have to pay all this
That's
stuff.
right.
And then we'll be able to grease the skids at both ends.
We'll siphon off the dollars. That's so we're basically we came at it from two different directions. We landed in the same place, that there will be so much fraud, and the people the taxpayers, they're the ones that are going to have to foot all the bills.
Who gets rich in communism?
The communists, the top of the party. Yeah,
that's the only people that do.
That's right.
They get wildly rich, and this is how it works. Now, private property, by far, before anything else, when it comes to socialists and communists and democratic socialists, that is the enemy, because private property creates wealth. It creates security. That is what they don't want you to have.
That's why they hate faith so much. You would lean on something other than government. If you create your own wealth using private property, then you're not depending on them for anything. So you automatically are the enemy.
Yes.
And
create the enemy, define the enemy, talk about using the power of government to get even with that enemy.
And watching those people in the background behind Mamdani. Dude, it was funny. There was even one woman that's over his right shoulder as you're looking on the left side of the screen. You can see her putting the pieces together. She's like, oh, he's right. Oh, and she tilts her head and then starts nodding like, yeah, he's going to take care of it for me. See, I've got a new superhero in this man.
What they're not recognizing, maybe it's a lack of knowledge of history, or maybe it's just their circumstance. What communists attempt to do, and this is what's so strange in a free country, they want to keep you where you're at. They want to make sure that they have you stuck in that place. So everything he's talking about is to make sure that once the government has a hold of you, you can't do anything to get out of it. Because, if I was hearing this, I'd be like, it's time to move out of New York.
That's right. Which is
what's happening now.
That's right. The reason I brought up the Charlotte story, just because it was in Axios.
People are getting out of there.
It walks right hand in hand into this story.
If you got money, you're leaving.
And you're seeing those businesses that are saying, oh, we were going to expand in New York. Now we're moving that to Florida, to Texas, to South Carolina, somewhere. We're moving it out of New York.
We'll take our game elsewhere.
That's
Thank
right.
you.
Absolutely right. Because I don't blame him, man. I wouldn't want to be around it. You know what communist looks like. You know what it sounds like. And then you see the repercussions of it. All you have to do is look at a little bit of Cuba. It's been communist for, decades and decades and decades. And those poor people have rolling blackouts. You're telling me in all those decades in Cuba that they couldn't get it right? The communists couldn't get it right. So they run with rolling blackouts. That's what they're having to deal with. And that's what fools in New York City voted for. Yeah, give us those rolling blackouts. It's not going to happen real quick. It's going to be slow and gradual. Then you'll just get used to it.
You know what Fidel Castro's estimated worth was?
I have no idea, but I bet it's astronomical.
$900 million.
Yeah.
Raul Castro is somewhere right around $100 million. So in a country that can't routinely keep the power on, that has cars from before the embargo and doesn't have regular tourism, yet the Castros are worth $1 billion.
But it's America's fault. That's what Hassan Piker said.
Yeah.
That's the reason they've been going down there, working with the that fool was silly enough to say it out loud on a podcast. Yeah, the government's reached out through an intermediary, but they reached out to me. So you're telling me that you're talking through a second party with an enemy of the United States? How dumb are you, dude?
Can I give you something else to ponder?
Yeah.
So back when she was alive, Queen Elizabeth II, remember, this is the head of the royal family.
Mm-hmm.
And she was, on the throne for 60 years? The woman's worth $500 million.
Hey, how much was Fidel worth?
$900 million.
What? How could that be so?
Worth nearly double the Queen of England. And they can't keep the lights on. That is how communism works.
That's right.
I can't give it to you more cleanly than that. That's a shot, no chaser.
No, that's right.
The Queen of England is worth half of what Fidel Castro was worth.
But I feel like, for us, and probably 99% of people listening right now, they're just nodding their head going, yeah, of course.
Of course. Somebody's going to say that at work today.
That 20, yeah. But that 20% or less, maybe 10% of people that actually support communism now that we know that it's being paid for by the CCP, those people, you're never going to convince them. They have been brainwashed to the point where they believe the BS that people like Mamdani put out.
This is why 2020 and 2021 was so damn dangerous, because you had so many of our liberties that were canceled out, that were excluded, that were put on hold. But I think the bigger picture of what occurred is that those people that look at totalitarianism as their goal, they got a real taste for it. They got a real fervor for it. And they're like, we can do this here.
This is nice.
Yeah. And we had, during COVID, we had the greatest wealth transfer in the history of this country. You don't think that they're not thinking, we go a little bit farther.
Of course they are.
And suddenly, it looks like real communism where, what are we talking about regularly? The middle class is taking it in the shorts. Well, in communism, in socialism,
there is no middle class.
It doesn't exist.
Yeah. It's the head and the poor.
They're looking to price you out of it. And what Mamdani was basically telling you is, hey, this is what we're going to do, and we'll control it. And the rest of you just sit there and clap for it.
Yeah, that's right. It's going to be you that suffers from it and suffers under it. And that's why people with means can get out of there. And the crazy thing is the people that are going to rely on the government are going to be stuck in it. They're going to be stuck in it forever.
And maybe we can get into this in the next segment, because the Graham Plattner audio.
No, dude.
It's just more of the same.
Yeah,
Democratic socialists are just communists. And their answer is always them.
Next on Extra 106.3.
Extra 106.3 Sports, powered by 680 The Fan.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Wednesday, May 27th. The Atlanta Braves opened up the road trip with a 7-6 victory in Boston last night over the Red Sox. Michael Harris went 4 for 4, including an 8th-inning homer, his 12th of the season. Game 2 goes down tonight. It'll be Bryce Elder on the mound. He'll be opposed by Connolly Early. First pitch is set for 6:45. You can hear all the game action on our sister station, 680 The Fan, and for free on the Fan app. From the NHL, the Las Vegas Golden Knights will play for Lord Stanley's Cup as they swept the Colorado Avalanche out of the playoffs, including a 2-1 victory last night. Tonight, the Montreal Canadiens host the Carolina Hurricanes. Carolina does lead that series 2-1. Puck drops at 8 o'clock. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
Your yard, it stresses you out. Between the watering, the seeding, the weeding, and mowing. And no matter what you do, you're never satisfied. Have you thought about artificial turf? It's low maintenance, it's pet friendly, and it looks amazing all year round. Those in the know use ATL Turf Go. ATL Turf Go is Atlanta's top choice for artificial grass installation. Let them build you a backyard of your dreams with a custom golf or putting green, outdoor kitchen or pool deck. They even specialize in custom concrete and stonework. They handle everything from design and grading to construction and drainage solutions. So whether it's residential lawns or recreational sports fields, ATL Turf Go can build you a stress-free space you'll love. So say goodbye to mowing, maintenance, and your wasted weekends. Learn more and schedule your free in-home consultation today. Call ATL Turf Go, 678-403-2339. That's 678-403-2339. Or visit atlturfco.com.
Georgia is growing. That means more jobs and more economic opportunity. As we enhance electric grid to power this growth, we're working to minimize disruptions in your community. Our crews always put safety first. Please watch for them working alongside the road and move over if you're driving. We will make every effort to choose the least disruptive route for new power lines while balancing community and environmental impact, costs, and reliability. Watch your mailbox for letters or postcards from Georgia Power. We're proud to be here for Georgia and here for you.
Sponsored by Georgia Power.
I'm so sick of all these cheesy lawyer billboards. You might be too. If you're injured in a car crash, you don't hire a lawyer because they're sweet or strong or the biggest. You hire a lawyer who's recognized by their peers as one of the top lawyers in the state. You hire a lawyer who's going to listen to you, fight for you, and has the case results to prove it. That lawyer is me, Bruce Hagan, the people's lawyer. I've been proudly selected by my fellow lawyers as one of the top 100 lawyers in the state and for 21 consecutive years as Georgia's super lawyer. Hagan-law.com, Hagan-law.com.
Right here in our backyard, sellers trust Purple Wave Auction to move their equipment, from excavators and ag equipment to trucks and specialty trailers. Our no-reserve online auctions help local sellers turn iron into opportunity. You get a dedicated territory manager who knows your operation, your market, and your timeline, backed by nationwide buyer demand. Local service, national reach, real results. See why more sellers choose Purple Wave. Visit purplewave.com to get started today.
Hey, Atlanta, the Summer Starts Here sales event is now going on through June 1st, Marietta Toyota. If you want a smart new Toyota with a payment that makes sense, start with the 2026 Toyota Corolla. And a vehicle that people choose for reliability, efficiency, and long-term value. Perfect for daily driving and commuting. At Marietta Toyota, every new Toyota includes our nationwide lifetime powertrain warranty, unlimited time, and unlimited mileage for as long as you own it. And we're voted Best of Cobb for 2026, Best New Car Dealership, and Best Service Center. Well-qualified buyers, 4.99% APR for 72 months is available on the new 2026 Corolla. Visit us on Cobb Parkway South, just north of Truist Stadium. Marietta Toyota, since 1975. We've been here and will be here for you.
4.99% APR for 72 months with approved credit through Southeast Toyota Finance. Not all buyers will qualify. Offer ends 6/1/26. See dealer for details. All purchases exclude tax, tag, title, and include dealer fee of $699.
The candidates you need to hear from before the midterms are live on Extra 106.3.
Talking to Greg Dozal here on the Morning Xtra. I would put everything that we talked about under the umbrella of the moment in history that we are in, which I think is that we are in a fight to save Western civilization. And there are people that want to overthrow the West. There are countries that want to overthrow the West. It's not just China. There are a number of other countries. I believe that we save the West by saving America. But if you think about it, we save America by saving Georgia, because Georgia has become ground zero for the fight for the White House, the fight for the United States Senate. I think that we save Georgia by saving the American dream right here.
Tell your local candidate if they want to win, they need to check in with Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
Tug and Los until 10 on Extra 106.3. Los and I over here murdering MS Now's On This Day music trivia. Who knew that they even did that? I had no idea. But between the two of us.
They're stealing from Kimmer, basically.
I know.
How dare they?
Oh, my God. That's right. And Los is low-key, like, really, really good at music trivia. Like, maybe you don't know that because he didn't talk about it a lot, but, dude, he was over here just knocking them out. Just
like
home
Andre.
run. Home run after home run after home run. There was a U2 reference. There was an Eagles reference, Andre 3000 of Outkast reference, and then Justin Bieber. And Los went 4 for 4. I went 3 for 4 on that one because I could not get the Bieber for whatever reason. Bieber does not jump out at me, and Los did.
Well, clearly you're not as metrosexual as I am.
Well, look, I'm going to work harder though. I'm going to get there.
I'm Team Bieber.
That's right. I'm going to get there. You know, it's something that I've never like. I don't dislike him at all. You know, a lot of people are like, Justin Bieber. I think he's a talented kid. He's fine.
I think a lot of things were done to that young man.
Oh, now that I agree with.
Yeah.
100% I agree with that. But just as far as a musician, like some people just hate his music, and I've never.
He's fine. For what it is, I'm like, that's cool.
I mean, that's not my go-to necessarily, but if it's on, I'm not rushing to change the channel.
Big Baby fan?
Yeah. Baby. Yeah, for sure. Like if Pink comes on, I can't get to the radio to change the station fast enough. I am not a fan of Pink.
Don't give me any ideas now, Tug.
Okay, then. Well, I'm going to tell you.
He just walks out.
Yeah.
I'm getting ready to have a guest in studio, and he just gets up and leaves.
You get the party started. I'm like, I'm out, Bryce. I'm leaving. Don't you ever do that to me. Morning Xtra, Extra 106.3. We had talked about how the mayor, Mamdani in New York, is, he's saying he's going to take private property and whatever. And then Graham Plattner, who is running for office up in Maine, sits next to one of the richest dudes in the Senate and Bernie Sanders, and he tries to be an everyman. And they were talking about tax hikes on billionaires.
Well, it used to be millionaires for Bernie until he became one.
That's right. Now he's got to move it up to billionaires. And, he says, well, government's the answer, basically. Listen.
No, I think it's abject nonsense. I think that's what somebody says when they don't want to see their taxes go up.
There's absolutely no question that if we target the wealth where it has been hoarded, frankly, for decades at this point, and we pull it back into our system and put it into social programs like healthcare, like childcare, like paying teachers what they are worth, we will absolutely improve the lives of working Americans and, quite frankly, improve our society as a whole. It's, I think what he is pitching is propaganda. It's meant to protect himself and protect his crony friends. And, we're going to come after them for it.
Yeah. Our systems. Anytime they say our systems, I'm like, I don't like your systems because I don't trust your systems. I see what happens with your systems because your systems is rely on government for everything, which really means give me the power, give me the money. I will then dole out who gets what. I mean, even down to, because in the socialist societies, they tell you from birth what it is you'll do as an adult. They control everything.
Well, and again, the propaganda is where it starts and how they get things rolling. And then that becomes, or it's supposed to become, the mentality that by which you operate. And so I want to play right off of that. So did you see the Tom Steyer information that went out to the creators? When I say creators, talking about podcasters and those that have social media influence. So this is the propaganda end of this. So yesterday, there was an email that went out, and it was as part of what you need to drive for us if you're going to keep getting this paycheck. For instance, when it came to Tom Steyer running for governor in California, first thing it noted, key audience targets, California women, specifically 18 to 54 age range. And it talked about one of his opponents saying, gaining some momentum here, winning them outright at the moment. It also talked about California Latinos, how Tom Steyer is losing there. It also then said California African Americans. This is a winnable target for Tom. He could make a lot of inroads here. So we want to double down there. Basically, it was giving you the talking points of what you need to put out there.
Here's what you got to say.
Here's what you have to say.
Yep.
And so, like last night, it went out and it was play the Christian values against Ken Paxton in Texas, which I'm just going to flat out tell you. The man got 77 million votes. Do you think that this party is that concerned with Christian values when it elected Donald Trump? No. All right? Like, you're trying to go with a formula that doesn't work anymore. But this is how the propaganda ends up working. So, as you're pointing out, Graham Plattner is basically pushing out this propaganda. Then they backfill it with social media to make you think that it's popular.
Yeah, that it's real.
That it's real.
It's exactly. Dude, Southern Poverty Law Center did it. Hassan Piker, I know we've talked about it, but it's worth bringing up again. He said that's exactly what they're doing with the CCP propaganda, the communist, the socialist propaganda that is showing up. How do we get people involved? We pay them, and then we try to make it look like it's some sort of organic uprising, if you will, in popularity of socialism and communism, and we know that is bought and paid for, just like Los is pointing out.
The article, which you can find at semaphore.com.
Semaphore's great. I love that website.
You have it from Max Tanney, and it's California influencer disclosures offer a glimpse at how secret money distorts American politics.
Distorts being the key word.
And it points out how this works. The account had received a $25,000 payment from the Steyer campaign, according to the campaign spending documents shared last week. This is for somebody to push a particular narrative. This is how the money's being spent. So that you actually think to yourself, well, this must be popular. But there's a lot of people that believe this.
But look how many places they've used that. January 6th, Gretchen Whitmer's kidnapping. They infiltrate, and then they use the influence. They try to make things happen. And look, in many cases, we're able to get things done. And then they go to social media and say, see, everybody believes this. Everybody's in on this. Look at how many people are out protesting. Now, most of them are bought and paid for. You don't know that. Most of them are bought and paid for. And then the rest are hangers-on just looking for something. I don't know if they're just lost souls, wayward souls. I don't know how you wind up in that and believe any of that BS.
So there is somebody that's on Instagram who goes by Quentin Quarantino. Now, they're also known as Tommy Marcus. Tommy Marcus has 1.3 million followers. This person, when it comes to what his payment was in order to be able to put some of this stuff out here, goes for $25,000
per post
in order to get the post of here's what we want you to do.
And to your 1.3 million followers.
Yeah.
Dude, so if they're doing that for Tommy, how many other influencers are they doing that to? Probably every one of them.
That is how the game works. And so when you talk about the infiltration of like your podcast networks,
especially the resistance Republicans,
and then you start to have these additional social media influencers, you're wondering, why are they all saying the same thing? It's because that's how the money is actually distorted. It's all just advertising.
It's exactly the way it was with the CIA and FBI sending it to the New York Times or the Washington Post.
And I think now would be a good time for full disclosure. We don't see a dime from the RNC. We don't see a dime from anybody other than our company that doesn't really have a political view other than saying, oh, okay, there's an audience for this.
Yep. Go say what's on your mind. Trump's IRS versus the Biden IRS. One works for you, the other intimidates you. Next on Xtra 106.3.
It's time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Xtra 106.3.
Well, the traveling octogenarians had settled in Arizona. The Bortz bus is beautifully parked near the Santa Catalina Mountains. I think that's what they call them. And here we'll rest for about a week, chasing no-neck pigs and trying not to step on rattlesnakes. Now, on the drive out here, I noticed something that was getting me increasingly agitated. The billboards along Interstate 20 and Interstate 10. It seems that about 60 or 70% of all billboards are advertisements for injury lawyers. I'm sorry, but injury lawyers are to the legal profession what burger flippers are to the culinary arts. Some of these billboards, like one says, I only take 25%. Another one will tell you, oh, I've recovered $3 billion for my clients. All this does is encourage litigation where it probably wouldn't happen in the first place. You're in a accident, tapped on the rear end. Your neck is a little sore. It'll feel fine tomorrow, but what the hell? Call Bovine and Bovine for the people, and maybe they can get you a fat check for no real reason. And my friends, I ask you to try to understand what that does to your car insurance premiums. When somebody gets $75,000 because a fingernail broke in a small accident, you're paying that $75,000 through your insurance premiums. I think they need a special category of lawyers. Lawyers just for auto accidents, not lawyers who handle corporate governance, not lawyers that handle large financial transactions, just lawyers who browbeat insurance companies. And then, of course, another category for lawyers who become talk show hosts, the most dangerous of all. West of the Continental Divide, Neil Bortz, Xtra 106.3.
Hey, this is Los with David from Atlanta, who just purchased his new car with the Honest Car Guy, the new, fully transparent way to buy your next vehicle. David, tell us about your experience.
I had been looking for a vehicle for a couple months. The car buying process was a little challenging at first for me. I had some credit issues in the past, and I just happened to hear a familiar voice on the radio, and it happened to be on the Honest Car Guy ad. I got in touch with Tom within 2, maybe 3 days. I had a vehicle being shipped here from Orlando, Florida. I have already recommended him to family members, several friends, and I'll purchase a car from Tom when I make my next purchase for sure.
Friends, if you're in the market for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. You pay what we pay, plus an honest fee, and we back that up by giving you the bill of sale. That's our transparency guarantee. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
Start your day with Tug and Los on the Morning Xtra.
To the left of Kennesaw on a map, if that helps.
To the left of Kennesaw, okay. Would that be west of Kennesaw, you're trying to tell me?
This way I'm pointing.
Okay, this way that I'm pointing.
I guess east and west is very difficult for people these days. It's to the left of Kennesaw.
Have you ever?
You mean to the west?
Yeah. Have you ever looked at a map before? God, man, it's to the left of Kennesaw.
Can't tell you how many times I've said that to my wife. Just go south on 400, exit, and head east. And she's like, what do you mean?
Exactly.
Tell her to turn right next time.
That's right. And then she'll know exactly.
No, that would not be to the right when you're heading south.
Yeah. Fine, just let it go. I won't embarrass him anymore, man. It's not time to pile on the child. You know? Sorry, man. You'll get it. You'll get it. You'll get it. It's fine. Go home, talk to your daddy.
I turned right like you said. No, you didn't.
But yeah, go home and tell your daddy you don't know how to read math. And then tell me you don't know how to change a tire. And he's going to feel like the biggest disappointment ever.
The Morning Extra, 6 to 10 a.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app. Stream Atlanta's only conservative voice anywhere you go with the Extra 106.3 app. Now equipped with Apple CarPlay. That means you'll always have Extra's crystal clear HD stream right on your dashboard no matter where you are. Download the all-new Extra 106.3 app now and start streaming.
So it was my fault, and I can't help
Snap
it.
out of it.
I know. All right, fine. Share.
The Kimmer Show every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app. WFOM and W292 EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. The 8 a.m. hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air.
President Trump is undefeated. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Every Republican he's backed this year for House and Senate has won primaries. And for the third time in 10 days, an incumbent lawmaker the president wanted out of Congress lost.
We've come up short in this primary runoff.
That's Senator John Cornyn after losing to Trump-backed challenger Ken Paxton, Texas's attorney general, by almost 28 points.
Tonight is not the end of a campaign. Tonight is the beginning of the fight to preserve every value we hold dear.
Now he'll face Democrat James Tallarico. And in a Truth Social post congratulating Paxton, the president called Tallarico maybe the worst Texas candidate he's ever seen, advocating open borders and weak on crime.
Democrats had been yearning for a fight with Paxton, who has faced political and personal problems. This was already the most expensive U.S. Senate primary race in U.S. history. Money will continue to pour in as Dems try to flip Cornyn's seat. No Democrat, though, has won a statewide election in Texas since 1994.
Fox's Madeline Rivera. President Trump will gather with his cabinet later this morning as tension hangs over talks trying to work out an end to the Iran conflict.
The stakes are pretty high. Iran accused the U.S. of a grave violation of the ceasefire after CENTCOM carried out what it described as defensive strikes on missile launch sites and Iranian boats trying to lay mines. They vowed to respond as well. This happened just days after the president announced a deal to end the war was largely negotiated.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich at the White House. The last president who used to live there, Joe Biden, is suing the Trump Justice Department
to block the release of audio recordings and transcripts of his private conversations with the ghostwriter of his 2017 memoir. The suit is in response to a 2024 Freedom of Information Act request by the Heritage Foundation, which filed its own lawsuit to obtain Biden's remarks. The former president argues personal information is exempt from disclosure.
Fox's Carly Shimkus. 9 people still missing in Washington state after a giant chemical tank imploded at a paper mill in Longview, Washington. Another worker was killed. America's listening to Fox News.
If you want unlimited talk, text, and data on a crazy fast network, Big Wireless will sell it to you right now for as little as $70 a month. Or you can buy it from Pure Talk for half of that. I'm talking about unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data for just $34.99 a month. Stop paying the big guys twice what you need to. Dial pound 250, say my name. That's pound 250, micro, to switch to Pure Talk, where the savings are truly unlimited.
Now, this 25th anniversary of 9/11, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation remains committed to honoring the heroes shaped by that day. Heroes like NYPD Detective Victor Vargas, a U.S. Air Force veteran who died from pancreatic cancer after serving in the World Trade Center recovery efforts. Tunnel to Towers honored Detective Vargas by paying off the family's mortgage. You can donate $11 a month, and you can amplify your impact with a car or land donation. Go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org.
You may know Bortz is back, but not everyone else does. Tell anyone who loves America, Bortz is back on the radio in Atlanta, and his new home is Extra 106.3. Listen to him now on the Extra 106.3 app.
Tug and Los on Extra 106.3. Thanks for being here. 447-441-1230. At Extra 106.3 across the social media platforms, saying morning, y'all. To you and your family, wherever it is you're headed out this morning or headed home, maybe working overnight shift, maybe working and making it back to home and going to sleep off the morning and get back up this afternoon. Wake up with the Kimmer Show right about 3 o'clock if that's your upside down schedule.
And then a little bit later this hour, be visited by Greg Dolezal, who's running for lieutenant governor, and we've hit runoff season.
Yes, we have.
Before we get into actual election season, which, let's face it, at this point, this is a 3-step race.
Yep.
There was a week ago, or 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, depending on when we started on early voting.
Yep.
Now we're coming up on June, and then we'll get into November.
That's right.
It's a multi-step process.
Yes, runoff is June 16th, so it'll be June 19th, I believe, is the primary here in Georgia. So it'll be fun to talk to Greg about what he plans to do differently. How is it different now since you only have one opponent versus a field? How do you go about winning that race, and what is it that you do to separate yourself, to differentiate yourself? And I think he'll have a lot of answers.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to talk about because you're still taking on another Republican, some people that you will likely have a lot of the shared views with. So how do you differentiate?
Yeah. And I have a feeling Greg won't be the last candidate in a runoff you'll hear from. Lots of folks reaching out. Lots of folks want to be on. We talked about a couple others. Say John Kennedy. You've got connected with them, and then somebody that's not in a runoff or not even in Georgia politics, but we've got Tim Burchett coming on, which I'm so looking forward to.
Can't wait.
On June 1st. There's so many things I want to talk to the guy about. And I think I may be most excited about him as a guest. In the last 5 years of doing this, he's the first person I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait to talk to him.
I'm going to say, Congressman Burchett, Lone Star Ticks, go.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. Is it the CCP? Are they funding it? Are they in cooperation with Bill Gates? What's happening? Why are there boxes of ticks laying around in the woods?
Go.
Yeah, right. And then you would have, I should have sent it to you last night when I was doing my little Charleston afternoon show. I brought up the scientists.
Science!
Yeah, right. I think it was science. Maybe they may have been CIA, so I don't think I have a CIA shout, but we'll get one. Where they're talking about the 4 different types of UFOs or people that they found from UFOs.
The races, sir.
Yeah, the races, yes. Have you seen their interview? Have you seen them? I think it was in the Daily Mail where I saw it.
Of course.
And I was listening to them, and so I did a whole break on the country show.
I think the Nordics would be the only ones that wouldn't freak you out.
Because they look human?
Yeah.
Okay. And I was like, my buddy Carlos, he's been telling me this for years. And then I was like, turns out there's CIA people saying the exact same thing he's been telling me for a long time. And I just went into, I was like, all right, how do you feel about this? What is it that you believe? What is it that you want to know? And do you care? We'll see what kind of responses I get from the country listeners about the UFOs. But I always
he go nuts.
That's right. No, but I always give you credit.
Thank you.
I was always like, my friend Carlos
takes him down some crazy roads.
Has been telling me about this for as long as I can remember. And there's people living under the ocean. You don't even know it.
They're not people.
What are they? But there's some a species. How about that? I think I said people.
Good enough.
Yeah, but I was like, when you think you're swimming alone, it's not Jaws. It's not Jaws that makes you feel nervous. It's them people that are under the water.
Burchett will tell you about the craft that it's moving down there, that we don't have anything that moves that fast. No one in humanity has anything that moves that fast down there.
And I'm eager because he's the one that said if you were to know some of the things, you wouldn't be able to sleep at night. And I genuinely trust him. I genuinely believe him.
And I hope that
he says that.
Whenever we have the discussion with him, I hope that then the next day you come in just ragged looking.
I will, because I won't be able to sleep.
It's like, I was
bite my fingernails.
I was talking with him last night.
Down to the quick. Let's start Dolezal when he gets in here at 8:25 with that.
I think he's got bigger fish to fry.
Get him
or
all
different ones.
Okay, can we end with it? Because I think it would be funny to spring it on him just to see what he says. You know what I mean? He's worried about running for lieutenant governor.
He's talking about hand marked ballots and securing our elections, and you're like,
tell me about the Nordics. What do you think about them lizard duck?
What about the reptilians?
That's right.
Are we concerned about the reptilians?
Because I feel like I need to be. Because Tim Burchett says so. Anyway, so all of that's coming up.
Are you going to ask him about containers?
Yeah, look, absolutely. Now that I know I am one, yeah.
Containers of souls.
Yes, now that I know that's
Tug container.
Now that I know that's what I am, yes, of course.
Need to get a shirt made.
That's right. Just container.
Just a piece of Tupperware.
Tug container.
No, he just says container. That's it.
That's it.
Because people will be like, why does your shirt say container? Well, sit down. Let me tell you. Lowe's, got to call Lowe's. Phone a friend.
I can't explain it to you, but I have someone who can.
But I know just the person. Lowe's put him on speaker. Lowe's, tell this person about my T-shirt.
Oh, I'm glad you're talking about this.
I love it. All right, 8 o'clock hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning. Your Atlanta carrier expert, 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com. First thing to know this morning.
Way out west, there's a show, the Morning Xtra, the Morning Xtra. Tug so bold, deep in the story, breaking news that's bold.
Download the app so you can listen live on demand and on demand if you miss anything. The best place to get it is there. And we'll start this morning with the difference in the IRS. I want to compare the IRS under Donald Trump and the IRS under Joe Biden. If you recall, Joe Biden hired 86,000 agents to track down your Venmo account activity, and they were armed. Trump using the IRS to follow each step of the process that will lead us to the massive fraud network that we first learned about in Minnesota. Listen to Scott Bessent.
Civil enforcement is auditing financial institutions that facilitated the laundering of Minnesota funds, in addition to helping support criminal and civil enforcement efforts. The IRS will also soon announce the formation of a task force.
Going to get a task force to track down everybody that is in that process. Banks, nonprofits, NGOs. Because back when it was, Stacey Abrams getting $2 billion dropped into the nonprofit account that she had for the nonprofit that was buying refrigerators in South Florida, they can't tell me where the money went. They can't tell you where the money went. $2 billion, they had $100 in the bank account. $2 billion shows up. They buy 14 refrigerators, and then they abscond with the rest of the money, man.
Where'd the rest of the money go?
Just give me an idea. And they told me, well, it's unfortunate. We just can't. We're not going to be able to find it. We don't know. It was passed off here and there, and it's just there's nothing we can do. Scott Besson says, I disagree. I think we can narrow this down. I think we can work backwards and figure out where it all went.
All right, let me tell you how this game has been played, because I saw the post from Geraldo Rivera last night. And good old Jerry was talking about how, if they don't go after any Republican, any of those groups, then this is all just BS. The Republicans have been targeted since at least 2013. That was when the IRS scandal under Lois Lerner ended up busting out. It was a move done by the Obama administration. Yes, they were looking for fraud, didn't find fraud. You know what they ended up doing? They ended up subverting anyone who was looking to start a 401c3. They basically were making sure that any conservative or Christian or any organization like that would not get the same tax breaks as everyone else. That was them weaponizing the IRS. So I know that Geraldo Jerry is late to the party here, but this is the game that the Democrats have been playing for a long time. This is not new. All we're finding out is the Democrats were a lot better than we were at any of this stuff. Billions of dollars? Stacey Abrams had $2 billion, bought 14 refrigerators, and the rest of it disappeared.
What? How in the world does that even happen?
If that had been found under Obama and Lois Lerner, you would be under a prison.
That's right. You wouldn't even be in jail. You'd be out of the jail. and there's no doubt about it. And here's the thing. I hope they do investigate Republican nonprofits.
By all means, have at it.
I want them all investigated.
Yeah,
I want them all to prove that they are doing the right thing.
If they're stealing money, fine. And this was the start of Doge. Remember, early on, Doge was not only reaching out to federal employees, like my brother-in-law, who got the email of, hey, give us a summation of what you do, which freaked him out pretty good. It was like, listen, they're looking for you to respond. It's like, that's it.
Just send an email, dude.
And
relax.
And that was 2.5 years ago, and he's still there. Not a problem. But Doge was looking into all of this to figure out, hey, where is all the waste, fraud, and abuse? And it was all around the world. You don't think that there were some people that were pretty upset on the Republican side when USAID was basically blown all to hell? Yeah.
Heck yeah, they were. And that's why I say, I got no problem with them investigating. We talked about it off the air, and I won't say the name of any of the nonprofits, but there was something that came on we saw, and I was like, dude, I want to trust that nonprofit's doing the right thing, but I don't know. And it was, hey, donate this certain amount of money, and it was a veterans, charity, that kind of thing. And I told Los, I was like, I don't trust any of them, dude. I've got no reason to trust any of them at this point. And I wasn't saying that they'd done anything wrong. I just don't know. And that's where we are. That's why I'm saying, Jerry, Geraldo, investigate everybody. Make everybody prove that they're doing the right thing with the money they get. That's what I want. So when he's throwing his hands to his hips saying, they better do it because it'll look political, you mean like the Democrats have always done? Like that, Jerry? Is that what you're telling me?
Is that what you're saying to me?
Exactly. Okay, good. Investigate everybody. Make sure everybody's on the up and up. I'm fine with that.
Because if you just want to talk about if there was a distinct lack or reduction in fraud, I want you to listen to Stephen Miller. Now, he was doing a presser with J.D. Vance yesterday, and he started talking about the immensity of the fraud that exists within our system. And it's not just, hey, those NGOs or these people that get money who then basically make sure it heads right back to the Democrats or any of those. He's also just talking about the people, like, for instance, in California, where they're trying to get a hold of Social Security numbers so they can defraud the government through their health insurance program. He's talking about the people that, I mean, we were pretty good as far as going after people with PPP loans. And you're like, wait a minute, you didn't really qualify for this. You got to pay this back. How many people defrauded the government that way?
Oh, my gosh, I bet the number's astronomical.
If there's money available, fraud will exist. It's just very simple.
It's human nature.
Take a listen to Stephen Miller as he explains how extensive it is.
Not abiding by our laws, and the amount that has been fleeced from us is in the hundreds of billions of dollars. I believe, based on what I've seen and what I've heard, is that we could balance the federal budget if the only dollars that went out of the Treasury went to individuals who were properly, lawfully, correctly eligible to receive them. And that ultimately is going to be what we have to do as a country. In the meantime, because of the Vice President's leadership, you are seeing the most muscular, robust, aggressive, dedicated, determined, and speedy effort to shut down criminal fraud that has not only ever occurred in the history of this country, but in any developed nation. So thank you.
Boy, was I wrong, Los. Boy, was I wrong, because if you remember, as if, I don't know, a week, maybe 2 weeks ago, I said, I bet that fraud could be 10% of the federal deficit. Boy, was I wrong. Stephen Miller said we could balance the entire federal budget just by stopping this fraud. The federal budget is about 400 times the deficit.
Yeah.
Boy, was I wrong. Like, I was sniffing down the right path. Like, I got where they were headed and it made sense, but I didn't understand the enormity of it.
When we were at the town hall that Dr. Rich McCormick was holding, and you and I were honored to be the MCs of that event, and there was the woman down on the left who just couldn't stop wanting to yell things out. And she was under the impression that our defense spending is, well, I mean, that's the most of anything we spend on the government.
It's the biggest.
I was like, baby girl, you're not even close. Look at the entitlement programs.
Yep.
And the amount of waste, fraud, and abuse that's happening there. It's not even close. In fact, we've been told by a number of different congressmen, 80% of our budget to 85% of our budget we can't even touch because it's tied up in entitlement programs, which is ripe with waste, fraud, and abuse.
Oh, dude. If we only knew, and hopefully J.D. Vance will get to the bottom of it, if we only knew what that actual number is. if they could break it down and tell us what the fraud is just in the entitlements, then it would be life-changing. It would change the direction of the country even because of the decisions we have to make because of our debt. If you could eliminate some of that stuff, dude, it'd be unbelievable. And I think maybe, if there's an October surprise, maybe that's it. They're going to lay it all out for you. Here's what the Democrats did for the last 40 or 50 years. This is what Trump will use. And this is me guessing. I don't know. Might not happen at all. Maybe he'll spring it on you next week. But it just seems like if you're waiting on a good time to spring what they're investigating now, October might be it, Los.
By the way, this is the 2025 numbers. So of our federal spending, $7 trillion, the mandatory spending, the stuff that can't even be messed with, is 60% of that. Then, obviously things start growing, and so we go from there. But if 60% you can't touch, and yet 80% is what, your congressmen are like, listen, there's another 20% that you're no way. You're not going to get into it.
Yep.
Well, how much, when 60% of your spending is based on these programs that people are already finding ways to commit fraud with?
Yeah.
How much is going out the door that shouldn't
That's
be?
what I'm saying. So if we can eliminate that, and then everything shrinks because of that, good on J.D. Vance. I'm glad that he's heading this thing up, and I hope he is vicious with it.
Well, this is smart. I've talked about this in the past. We can deal with bad government. Nobody likes fraudulent government. When you think somebody makes a bad call on something, you know what? All right, vote them out.
Yeah, it sucks.
But when you're being stolen from
daily,
that is across the aisle. That's why, in my opinion, the SAVE Act is so important. That's why it enjoys 80 to 85% of people across the country agree with having voter ID, because you want to make sure that your vote matters. You want to make sure that your elections have integrity, and you want to make sure that citizenship matters, because the amount of people that are not supposed to be here and they're also committing fraud with the government, I think that's what's going to get Ilhan Omar before we know
She's going to get cooked.
I think she's going to get cooked in this whole, feed our families deal.
Good. It's about time. It's about time somebody's held accountable. I hope she's one of many that are held accountable. And to where we started, if Geraldo's worried about it, good. I hope they make everybody prove that they're not frauding you and I. I hope they do. 8 o'clock hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta carrier experts. 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com. When we come back, runoff candidate for Lieutenant Governor Greg Dolezal joins us next here on Extra 1063.
Live and local news talk continues at 3 p.m. with Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. It's the Kimmer Show, only on Extra 1063 and the Extra app.
What a season. The boys are giving us plenty to celebrate, but if you've celebrated a little too hard after a win and ended up in jail, you need A Second Chance bail bonds. We handle bonds from the stadium to the city, and in most cases, we can have you or your loved one out in a matter of hours. A Second Chance. It's better to know us and not need us than need us and not know us. Call A Second Chance 24/7 at 404-BAIL-OUT. That's 404-BAIL-OUT. Or online at atlbail.com.
The warm air, the beautiful weather, and the sounds of baseball. It's got you thinking about hitting the road. And no matter where your adventures take you, Subaru of Gwinnett has a vehicle to get you there safely and in style. Like the 2026 Subaru Outback, which will take you as far as you want to explore with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive plus up to 32 miles per gallon. And if you're up for adventure, it'll get you off the beaten path with up to 9.5 inches of ground clearance. More than the Honda CR-V or Toyota RAV4 or the 2026 Subaru Forester, the SUV for all you love. It's the right-sized SUV for all the adventures ahead with a spacious and comfortable interior for everyone you want to bring along. And no matter where adventure takes you, it starts on Satellite Boulevard in Duluth with the amazing staff at Subaru of Gwinnett. They'll help you find the Subaru that you'll love and be there every step of the way for everything you need. Start your shopping online at SubaruofGwinnett.com.
Babe, can you knock out my honey-do list today?
Oh, I know. I told you I'd get to it this weekend.
Hi, I'm Chris Lalomia, owner of the Trusted Toolbox. I can't fix your marriage, but I can fix your house. With our handyman for a day service, we'll handle those drywall patches, that door that won't latch, the leaky faucet, and the wood rot all around your house. The whole punch list, done fast, done right. You keep your weekend, she gets the house done. Everybody wins. Book your handyman for a day at thetrustedtoolbox.com. One call, one handyman, one day, the Trusted Toolbox.
It's May 27th, and this is your Fox Daily Snapshot. Today is National Grape Popsicle Day. The popsicle has long been a tasty treat that's nearly synonymous with the arrival of warmer weather. The history of the popsicle dates back to 1905 in San Francisco, California, as a young Frank Epperson discovered he made the dessert completely by accident. Nearly 20 years later, he patented the frozen sweet as the Epsicle, later changing the name to the Popsicle. Also on this date, in 1958, Ernest Green becomes the first African-American student to graduate from Central High School in Little Rock, Arkansas. Just a year earlier, Green was part of the Little Rock Nine, who had to be escorted into the segregated school by federal troops as members of the Arkansas National Guard blocked their entry into the building. If it's your birthday today, you share it with former Secretary of State and Nobel Peace Prize winner Dr. Henry Kissinger, born in 1923. I'm Tushar Saxena, and that's your Fox Daily Snapshot.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Good morning. It's Wednesday, May 27th, and here are your headlines. Ken Paxton is the winner of the Texas runoff. Him and Donald Trump are the big winners in the Republican Senate runoff, with Paxton defeating longtime Senator John Cornyn after receiving Trump's endorsement just days before the election, setting up a closely watched general election matchup against Democratic State Representative James Tallarico. Georgia drivers could continue seeing rising gas prices through the summer travel season as tensions in the Middle East and disruptions involving the Strait of Hormuz impact global oil markets, with analysts warning higher diesel prices could also drive up costs across the broader economy, despite Georgia's temporary gas tax suspension helping keep prices lower than the national average. And finally, the Smyrna City Council is considering a proposed $122.7 million budget for the fiscal year of 2027 that would keep the city's millage rate unchanged while increasing spending in the general fund, as leaders continue discussions on long-term comprehensive plans focused on future development, affordability, transportation connections, and growth around downtown Smyrna. Rainfall is expected throughout the morning with possible thunderstorms in the afternoon. It'll be a high of 85 and a low of 69. With your Extra 106.3 headlines, I'm Bryce Gobert.
Tug and Los until 10 on Extra 106.3. We are joined by friend of the show, Greg Dolezal, running for Lieutenant Governor, the runoff June 16th. We started, man, we were bouncing all over like a pinball machine.
I walked in and it was full conversation already. I was like, okay,
yeah,
here we go.
I'm just glad to see you back at work, man. I feel like half the time I'm here, you're on the beach.
I got
flying somewhere.
Well, we hit our 20th wedding anniversary.
Nice.
And in fact, so I heard from Flo where she was like, hey, we're looking to get some time on the show. I was like, well, sure. And I told Tug, it's like, if I hear from any of your people, I put everything down. I say, okay, let's figure out when we can get Greg in, because we got questions. We got a whole lot of stuff going on here.
And there is so many questions. What's your reflection now coming off the primary, getting to the runoff? Where are you? Like, what does that look like for you as a candidate?
I am just begging for money, man.
I love the honesty. It's just brutal.
I mean, you spend everything you got to get here. You wake up the next day. You've got 4 weeks until election day, which means you've got 3 weeks till early voting. You're like, I've got no money. Yeah. I've got to get a statewide message out. Yeah. Please, mom and dad, send money. That's been the job.
Well, let's talk about how different that is, because when you're running out of a particular district, when you're running for state senate, and you're being able to focus on, here's my local community. This is what I'm doing. This is what it's going to cost me. Now you're trying to win a state. And obviously you beat a field, and now it's down to a runoff. Well, okay, that's going to cost money to continue to try and win that whole state.
Yeah. So 2 things. One thing I learned, so when I ran for state senate, I just went out and knocked on 10,000 doors. Mm-hmm. And I spent 6 months, basically 5 to 6 days a week knocking on doors. You can't do that and cover the whole state of Georgia. So the statewide campaigns are much more of a messaging campaign. But if you look at what we're dealing with this year, and we made a strategic bet when Rick Jackson got in the race on, I think it was January 30th, that he got in and he said, I'm spending $50 million of my own money.
And it ended up being, I think he spent almost double that. But we very quickly realized the airwaves are going to be jammed. It's going to be hard to get a message out on television with the little bit of money that we have. And so we had to make some strategic bets and some changes on what we would talk about in terms of when we would say, when we would get our messaging out. We went on television way earlier than we thought. We did a thinner buy, if you will, but over a longer period of time, because we knew that the last month of the campaign, it was going to be everybody run for governor, lieutenant governor, Senate, attorney general, everybody just fighting for oxygen. And so we made a bet to get out a little bit early to try to get ahead of that a little bit.
So you stopped. Let me make sure I understood that right. Toward the end, you slowed down a little bit, just knowing that the airways are jammed, or you put it on
let's
heavy?
face it, Rick Jackson's everywhere right now.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's flattening everybody else's message.
Yeah, so the conventional wisdom is hold all your money until the last 6 weeks and just go buy broadcast television.
Yeah.
We said we're going to buy over a period of 2 months, but we know we were going to have less spend down the stretch, but our hope was to get people bought in earlier, and I don't know whether it worked or not. Something worked. Something worked, but the other hard thing about these is I remember my state Senate race, I got 59% of the vote in a 3-way primary. And my dad asked me that night on the way home, if you could have not done anything and saved some money, what wouldn't you have done? I said, I don't know, because I don't know what worked. I don't know if it was direct mail. I don't know if it was radio. I don't know if it was TV. I know it was door knocking for sure.
It was radio for sure.
But big investment in radio. Big investment in radio.
Well, we're always big on this. And Greg Dolezal, state senator running for lieutenant governor here in the state of Georgia, is with us on the Morning Extra. We've always talked about offering candidates long-form interview. And I think that's an opportunity to not only talk about policy, but also shows a little bit of personality. And that's hard to do in a 30-second TV ad. And so that's what we've always tried to push to everybody. And so I think that's always helpful when you talk about the door knocking situation. I think this is our digital version of it.
Yeah. I showed my wife, in full transparency, our TV commercial, which was us blowing up a cardboard cutout of the Ayatollah. And she's like, Greg, this isn't you. Like, you're the intellectual guy. You're the guy that goes to the well and gives speeches. I'm like, well, Natalie, I can't do a 30-second commercial on John Locke's 2 treatises of government and the divine right of kings.
That's the problem.
And life, liberty, and property. So we're going to blow up the Ayatollah.
The next best thing, really. You do so many great things and have done so many great things, like the Riley Gaines Act, protecting girls from having boys in their sports and their locker rooms. And you're seeing now people like Keisha Lance Bottoms say, I would have vetoed that. How do you respond to those kind of criticisms for something that's clearly such a good thing to have happen?
I just wish Keisha would keep talking.
That's right.
I saw Riley retweeted that yesterday. Riley's a friend. I was actually texting with her yesterday, and I retweeted that yesterday because it is a great reminder of how far off the reservation the Democrat Party is. And remember, that's them in a primary, so she'll probably try to moderate, and you won't hear that talk probably when you get to the general. But we know who Keisha is. Keisha is the person that said we are not going to allow the cops to chase bad guys. She watched the city burn. She allowed the autonomous zone to get set up at Wendy's after the Rayshard Brooks shooting, and only allowed police officers to go in after Sequoia Turner was shot and killed, the 8-year-old girl who was just trying to get home with her mom. That's the legacy of Keisha. And they're going to try to repaint that history over the next, whatever we've got, 5 months or so, but we're not going to let it happen.
Greg Dolezal is our guest in studio. I think a lot of what our listenership has talked about is candidates you believe in, but candidates that are also talking about things that are sane, because that's not going to be something that comes out of Keisha Lance Bottoms. What has been your focus over the next several weeks? Is it just been, let me continue to get the message out here? Now that you're down to just one opponent, obviously another Republican, before getting into that general election, what's kind of your focus on the messaging?
We're keeping with the same messaging because my messaging is actually a great opportunity to draw contrast with my opponent, who's also my friend.
Which is something that I don't think many people realize that happens in politics anymore, anyway.
Man, we just got done. Steve Gooch sat in front of me this last year in the Senate. We worked great all during session. David Clark was part of the Forsyth County delegation. I've endorsed David in previous races of his. I think he's endorsed me in previous races of mine. And so we're friends. And then Blake Tillery was the chairman chairman of appropriations, and I was the vice chairman. And so we sat in what we call Green Door, which is the room where the budget's written, for years in a row now. Not only that, but we just worked in general on legislation. And then when I came into the Senate 8 years ago, John Kennedy was my mentor. You get an assigned mentor in the Senate, and he's a guy that had been there for a few years longer than me, and somebody that I had a good relationship with. And but the reality is that we have different styles, we have different worldviews, I think. And so when I talk about data centers, when I talk about Sharia law, when I talk about the need to eliminate the state income tax, when I talk about the fact that I think property taxes are un-American, these are things that John may start talking about now that I'm talking about them, but they're not John's comfort zone or what you've heard John talking about for the last 6 months.
What do you think that he is going to focus on? Aside from, I guess, what are the policy differences? Can you separate those two? Even though he's a bud of yours, I don't expect you to attack him or anything. What are the differences?
I think the beauty of a race like this is every year that I've been in the Senate, except for this year because he resigned to run for office, so for 7 years we voted on the same bills, and so it's just a completely objective review. Greg Dolezal voted against the renewal of the data center tax credit. John Kennedy voted for it. Greg Dolezal voted against the. It's weird I'm referring to myself in the first person.
Go with D.
I know what I'm doing. Yeah. I voted against the $1 billion marketplace facilitator tax hike. John voted for it. I voted against putting a excise tax on Uber rides. John voted for it. I voted against the Airbnb nightly tax. John voted for it. So there are things here. Now, John and I both voted for the Riley Gaines Act. John and I both voted for the Georgia Promise Scholarship Act. But you get these. So 80 to 90% of the work that we do, frankly, Democrats and Republicans all vote the same way on in the Senate. But there are the split votes where you try to look for the clues as to where you see the differences between candidates, and those are a couple examples.
Greg Dolezal is our guest in studio right here on the Morning Extra. Considering that Georgia's been working with a surplus, does that messaging of the times you've voted against tax increases and also talking about property taxes and the changes to income tax, and you're always able to point out, listen, we've got a surplus here. How is that hitting with people?
Yes. All that a surplus means is that we took money out of our constituent savings account and put it into government's savings account. In other words, we overtaxed you. And we let that money accumulate and accumulate and accumulate and accumulate, and then we very, very slowly have ratcheted down the income tax rate. In fact, I told a group of folks last night in Bartow County, we have lowered the tax rate in Georgia. We brag about it. We've gone from 6% to 5%. So if you think about Forsyth County, average household income is a little bit over $100,000. Let's just call it $100,000. So over the last 5 years, the Georgia General Assembly has lowered the taxes for those families by $1,000. $90 a month. Yeah. And they don't clap. And I say, well, by the way, guys, you know what we did this year? We passed a bill to lower the rate over the next 8 years, another point. So 8 years from now, we'll have saved you another $1,000. And they don't clap because they shouldn't be clapping. And because we have been far, far too resistant to being aggressive on lowering the tax rate in Georgia, forcing government to live within its means. And we've just kind of sat back, collected this largesse, and said, well, we'll give you $500 back this year. We'll give you $250 back. And it has been a relatively weak response, I think, to the growing economy in the state. And it's time for aggressive leadership. And that's why I'm running for lieutenant governor.
I get so frustrated because my wife asked me the other day, she was like, where's the $500 come from? Because she doesn't keep up politically. I don't think many people, like 1% of people maybe that listen to shows like this that keep up the way we do. So when I see that check hit, I'm insulted. I'm like those people that don't clap because I know why we're getting that check, just like you laid out. So as lieutenant governor, how do you fix that problem? Can you, in that position, fix that problem?
Absolutely, you can fix that problem. We have the corporate welfare in the state of Georgia is completely out of control. It's been probably the most consistent topic of bills that I've voted no on, has been the idea of frankly, let's just talk about what it is. A lobbyist pitches an idea to a politician. A politician has a relationship with that lobbyist. They get sold somehow. So they think, oh, cool, we need hyperscale data centers in the state of Georgia. Let's just not charge them sales tax. Well, that's now costing the state government $1.5 billion and local governments $1.3 billion. And guys, there's not that, there's 1,000 of them being built. There's maybe 30 of them being built. So you take that $2.8 billion and spread it out among 20 or 30 or 40 data centers a year that are getting built. It's a tremendous benefit. It is the electromagnet that has caused us to surpass Texas and Virginia in terms of data center development. And this, to me, comes back to instincts. I had the instincts to vote no against this in 2022 before this really became the massive problem that it is today. And those you need people in elected office that recognize instinctually it's not the role of government to pick winners and losers. We have to lower the rate for everyone and allow every business to compete on a level playing field. And that's the best thing that we can do, not only for our own citizens, but for those businesses that we want to attract here that might otherwise go to Florida or Texas.
Greg Dolezal is our guest in studio, running for Lieutenant Governor of the state of Georgia. Let's talk about the balance there, because I remember more than a decade ago, before the initial Donald Trump tax cuts, I talked about the corporate tax rate in this country and how we needed to get more competitive with the rest of the world in order to keep our companies here and keep being competitive. I guess my question is, as Lieutenant Governor and looking at what's going on in the state, yeah, we want to attract new business to the state, but at the same time, we don't want it to be basically handing out our own money for it to go there. How do you balance those two?
To me, there's no balance. I don't think the government's role is to give taxpayer money to certain businesses and not to give it to other businesses. I remember back when I first got elected, you guys probably remember this, but there was a lot of chatter in Georgia about attracting and winning Amazon HQ2. And Governor Kemp had just won his first election by 45,000 votes. And Amazon HQ2 was going to employ a few thousand people. With them, their spouses come. I'm thinking to myself, guys, we just won a razor-thin margin. Why are we going to move 10,000 Californians and Seattle folks here? I think about my company. We started in the basement 20 years ago. We're not massive. We employ 80, 85 people. But we have a different ethos than Amazon. There is no DEI, mandated DEI training at my company. There is no environmental social governance focus and department at my company. I can tell you who, a couple months ago, whose wife became a doctor. I can tell you whose father passed away. There's just a different, I guess, tactile that you can feel, touch difference between small and mid-sized companies and these multinationals. And frankly, I'm tired of watching us bend over to roll out the carpet for the big multinational corporations and not looking out for the small mom and pops that employ over half of Georgians.
I agree with you 100%. Let's take a break. When we come back, how do you save those Georgia values? Because coming off of Memorial Day weekend, I saw the beauty of America so many times play out on television. I heard it on the radio. I saw it on social media. The American values, the Georgia values that I cherish so much. How do we protect them? How do we preserve them here in the state? And how will you do that as Lieutenant Governor? When we come back with Greg Dolezal, who's running for Lieutenant Governor, the runoff June 16th here in the state of Georgia. This is Extra 106.3.
Extra 106.3 Sports, powered by 680 The Fan.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Wednesday, May 27th. The Atlanta Braves opened up the road trip with a 7-6 victory in Boston last night over the Red Sox. Michael Harris went 4 for 4, including an 8th-inning homer, his 12th of the season. Game 2 goes down tonight. It'll be Bryce Elder on the mound. He'll be opposed by Connolly early. First pitch is set for 6:45. You can hear all the game action on our sister station, 680 The Fan, and for free on the Fan app. From the NHL, the Las Vegas Golden Knights will play for Lord Stanley's Cup as they swept the Colorado Avalanche out of the playoffs, including a 2-1 victory last night. Tonight, the Montreal Canadiens host the Carolina Hurricanes. Carolina does lead that series 2-1. Puck drops at 8 o'clock. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
Hey, this is John Flading from ATL Turfco. We're a family-owned and operated independent local company here in the Atlanta area. We've been in business for over 15 years. We install several different types of artificial grass. One is landscape, which looks like real grass for your lawn. The next one is pet turf. Pet turf is a little bit shorter than landscape, and it's more durable. And the other one is putting greens. If you can dream it, we can build it. Just go to atlturfco.com to schedule an appointment. appointment.
You should never need financing for a simple garage door repair, but it's happening here. Out-of-town companies have invaded Atlanta for a cash grab, charging outrageous prices. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons Garage, Entry Doors, and Windows. Stay local and stay on budget for every opening of your home. All Four Seasons, trusted in Atlanta for over 25 years, exceptional customer service, and fair, honest pricing. When trust matters, trust us. All the number 4 seasonsgarages.com.
Just 15 miles from downtown Atlanta, there's a place where the game feels the way it was meant to. Welcome to Wolf Creek Golf Club in southwest Atlanta. Long before the first tee shot was struck, this land, 250 acres of rolling hills and quiet wetlands, was a natural escape. In 2001, 2 Georgia Tech grads saw its potential and built a course that works with the land, not against it. Wolf Creek winds through trees, elevation changes, and scenic water, creating a true golfer's golf course. This isn't just another round. It's a test of strategy, of patience, of skill, and yet it's open to everyone. Whether you're booking your next public tee time or ready to elevate your game with membership options, Wolf Creek delivers a pure golf experience. Wolf Creek is now under new ownership, upgrading the course and clubhouse facilities, and with new head pro Don Tracy. Play it, experience it, belong to it. Visit wolfcreekgc.com to book your round or call 404-344-1334 to learn more. Wolf Creek Golf Club, Atlanta Golf, the way it should be.
When Atlanta drivers want strength, capability, and comfort in one place, they head to Jim Ellis Buick GMC.
That's because Buick and GMC deliver everything from refined luxury to serious professional-grade performance, and Jim Ellis Buick GMC makes the buying experience quick, easy, and transparent.
Whether you're looking for a rugged GMC Sierra, a versatile Acadia, or a refined Buick Enclave, you'll find a huge selection in stock right now.
And just like every Jim Ellis dealership, you can shop your way. Start online, value your trade, schedule a test drive, even handle paperwork from home.
Or stop by and experience the no-pressure, straightforward approach Jim Ellis is known for.
Find your new Buick GMC at JimEllisBuickGMC.com or shop in person for a VIP shopping experience designed around your needs.
2 convenient locations to serve you. In Chamblee on Peachtree Boulevard, just inside the perimeter, or up Highway 20 in Buford near the Mall of Georgia.
Jim Ellis Buick GMC. We are professional grade.
You and your buddy. You've been through a lot with each other. The ups and the downs. He's been with you every morning, noon, and night. You've traveled the world together. Heck, he was even with you on your first big date. But have you noticed he's struggling lately? Not performing on the job. He can't even stand up straight anymore. He's wanting to cry out for help, but just doesn't know how. He needs Dr. Deal and Total Body Therapy of Georgia. They can give him the gift of good posture this year, help him stand proud and become all he was meant to be. Now, take him by the hand, look him in the eye and say, "I appreciate you, little fella," and we're going to get you some help. We're going to call 404-777-1911. We're going to visit tbtofga.com. We are going to say goodbye to erectile dysfunction forever. Total Body Therapy of Georgia. It's a hard conversation to have, but it's one worth having. Total Body Therapy of Georgia. Online at tbtofga.com.
So it is my fault, and I can't help
Snap
it.
out of it.
I know. All right, fine. Share.
The Kimmer Show, every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Georgia values are so important to me. Born and raised in Northwest Georgia, Georgia values mean something to me. Being a lifelong resident of the state and Georgia by the grace of God. I say that a lot. American by birth, Georgia by the grace of God, and I believe it. Greg Dolezal is our guest this morning, running for lieutenant governor. In the runoff. The runoff is June 16th, so consider getting out and voting for Greg in that runoff. And I want to ask him a question, and you probably have this same question. How, as lieutenant governor, how will you preserve those Georgia values that mean something to me that I saw over the Memorial Day holiday weekend? American values too, but Georgia values specifically.
Yeah, I mean, I think about my excuse me. I think about my wife, who's Southern born and bred, and my three daughters who are coming behind her, and a lot of that I think is generational through the families, right? It's the stories that we tell. It's the days that we spend together sitting on the back porch. It's the intertwining undermining of our faith and our families. Sure. And I think that we just have to be willing to talk about that. And I do think, though, that it is tied. We're an original colony. And so we're one of the original 13. We're one of the OGs. And I think that talking about that through the lens of American values is also important, because I do think that that is what is under the most acute attack right now, is life, liberty, property, God-given and inalienable rights, the concepts of the elevating the liberty of the individual over the power of the state. That is ultimately what the fight is between free market capitalism and Democrat socialism. And so we cannot allow, I would actually say, Tug, that we can't bifurcate those things too far, because if the country goes, then we are downstream of culture in so many ways. As a state, we are downstream of what's happening nationally.
Greg Dolezal is our guest, running for lieutenant governor right here on the Morning Extra. I want to tie right into that, because so much of democratic socialism is about remaking the values of the country in a way that we would never recognize it. How concerning is it that has picked up steam on the left? Now, I still am a big believer in, like, that's 10%, that's 15% of the country. But the fact that it's even gotten 10% of the country, we see this like every 3 generations, but now it's back again.
It's back. Yeah. I tell people I'm 47, and it's kind of my generation's turn to fight back the commies, right? Yeah. You know, my grandparents had to do it, then my parents had to do it, now we're having to do it. It's always a different face. It's always a different flavor of it. Back when I was in college, I used to accuse my college professor, one in particular, of being a commie, and she would deny it. But now now they're just out in the open, right?
Yeah, they don't hide anymore.
They're running. Gabriel Sanchez, duly elected to the Georgia General Assembly. His vote counts just as much as mine does. He is a self-declared Democrat socialist, and he's got a whole slate of candidates with him that are now running to try to get positions in the state House and the state Senate, and that was unthinkable 10 years ago. And so the veil's been pulled back a little bit to where they feel like they've got a lane. They see the election of Zohran Mamdani. He was able to do it in New York, of all places, the financial capital of the world, certainly the financial capital of America. There's something symbolic of having a socialist as the mayor of New York. And I think that they feel emboldened. And so it is, and they see their opening with the next generation, because what's happened is the middle class is on life support. The average American family cannot afford gas, groceries, and childcare.
We were just talking about this before you got in here, about the assault on the middle class and how that is such a one of the hallmarks of communism, socialism, of a class at the top that makes a ton of money and everybody else underneath them.
Yes, and if you can't afford gas, groceries, and childcare, along comes a guy that smiles a lot while he talks, named Zoran, and he says, I'm going to do government grocery stores and rent control. You're like, well, this isn't working for me. Maybe that will work for me. And that's how people like that get elected.
I'd written down commie smiles, because it's always packaged in a smile. And it used to be, Los and I joke, because my father-in-law, anything bad that happens, and I just mean around the house, like if he drops his sandwich on the floor, he'll be like, that's a commie sandwich, or the TV doesn't work, that's a commie TV. It used to be a joke. It's not a joke anymore. Or at least at this point where we are now, it is not a joke anymore. And we're seeing people like Hassan Piker and the CCP and how much influence, and they're flooding in billions of dollars to build that influence across the country. Like Lo said, maybe it's 10% of the country, which is too much. But if you add that kind of money and backing, people see it so much, it becomes natural just to say, hey, maybe that isn't so bad. How do we stop that? How do we stop the organizational part of it, where they're using money from the CCP to influence Americans?
We've got to get foreign money out of our politics, but I would say more than that, we've got to get foreign money out of our daily lives. And what I mean by that is, and I've talked about this, hedge funds, private equity groups using foreign investment money, often Chinese and Saudi money, to buy single-family homes in America. And I think that there is a long-term plan by the globalists to turn us into a nation of renters and not homeowners. You will own nothing and rent everything. And I think that that is the angst and the anxiety that the next generation is feeling. I bought my first home in my 20s. I don't know when y'all bought.
Same thing.
Yeah. So the average age of a first-time home buyer now is 41. So imagine rolling through your 20s and you're like, I can't afford a house. Then you roll through your 30s. You're like, I still can't afford a house. Okay, now I'm finally 40 years old. I'm 41 years old. I'm going to sign a 30-year mortgage. I'll finally have this thing paid off when I'm 71. And you're like, this is not working. And so I don't know what it is. I don't know what changed. I conceptually believe in free market capitalism, but it's not working for me. And so if it's not working for me, I'm willing to try something else. And it's the next generation I'm really the most worried about. Charlie Kirk did an amazing job, I think, pushing back on that and ignited something, especially among the young men in this generation. But we have to change the reality on the ground for them so that they actually experience in real life what we talk about conceptually.
Well, and I think this is the great responsibility now of Gen X, that our responsibility now is that Gen Z and Gen Y get the America that they were promised. And that, I think, I do think we're going to see a reduction ultimately in education costs just because of some of the issues that are going on. But that's another big deal. It's housing, because it's always been, and it was promised to me when I was a kid. It was promised to Tug. Get your education. Here's what lays out for you. Go work hard. You get to have the American dream. And that's not exactly realistic right now for a lot of these younger people.
Yeah, and I don't want to get too philosophical here, but in the Enlightenment period, there was a lot of conversation around the social contract, and America really was born out of the Enlightenment, and the social contract right now is strained because what we're promising the next generation we're not delivering, and it's a massive threat, I think, to the country, because if you see a generation go through their 20s and 30s for 15, 20 years over a period of time where they're not buying homes, and they reach 55 years old and they've paid off 18% of their house and they still own 80% on their mortgage, you're going to see a revolution in this country, and it's not going to be pretty.
Yeah.
And so that's the concern.
They're so scary.
Well, you talk about maintaining American values.
Yeah,
that's part of how you do it.
That's exactly right. Greg Dolezal, our guest. AI, because this is something that people talk about, and we addressed data centers a little bit earlier. But when it comes to immigration, illegal or legal, if AI is going to take jobs away, we're going to need less people in this country. That's something we're going to have to slow down. And being lieutenant governor, you'll have to kind of have the reins on that for Georgia.
There are periods of time in American history where we have completely paused our immigration, the 1920s being one of them. I think that's what we should be doing today. We have had insane immigration policies in this country, both legal and illegal. We've had incredible H-1B abuse in this country, in addition to millions of people walking across the Rio Grande. And the only question that we should be asking through the lens of immigration is, does this person who wants to come here benefit the American people? And if the answer is no, then the answer is they should not be here. But the lens that we have looked at immigration through has not been that lens over the last 15, 20, maybe even 30 years. And we are seeing we are seeing replacement of American workers by cheap foreign labor, and people are angry. They should be angry. It is both parties that have sold out to the corporations and the chambers of commerce, and it is, I think, the greatest thing that President Trump has shined a light on is the scam that exists in the immigration system.
Let me follow up with that, because I've talked about how what happened during the Biden administration, whether it's 10 million, 15, 20 million people that came in here illegally, that hardened a lot of people, including some pretty moderate Democrats, when it comes to immigration. I think that has put into us a mentality of very hardcore, that if you can't help right now, you're not supposed to be here. And I think it's a backlash based on the fact that we didn't vet anybody for 10, 15, 20 million people. And at the same time, I'm told, take this government shot, but all these people coming across the border, hey, you're fine. To me, it was just a huge clapback on what went on.
Yes, I think that the American people looked around and they recognized that something was fundamentally flawed, that there were greater forces at work that were working against them. There was no logical reason why you would turn on your television at night, like we did during the Biden years, and just see tens of thousands of people streaming across the border, most of whom would end up on government welfare and social services that we're still paying for to this day, by the way. One thing that I think, frankly, needs to happen is we have a Supreme Court precedent in America that says that we are obligated to provide a public education to the children of people who are here illegally. Not the children that were born here, but you can come across the border in America with your children, and according to some crazy Supreme Court precedent, the people of Forsyth County or the people of Vidalia, Georgia, in Toombs County, have to pay for those people's kids to go to our public schools. There's no other country in the world that's doing that, and so people are angry.
Absolutely, they are. And I want you to go check out Greg's website, gregdolezal.com. If you're looking for him on social media, Dolezal4GA Dolezal 4GA is where you can find them. Final thought here before we wrap up.
Guys, we talk about this all the time that I'm here. I'm just going to keep saying it. We're in a fight to save Western civilization. I think we've got about a 10-year window to do it. That's why I'm running for lieutenant governor.
Goodness, powerful message.
We got Blair's vote.
That's right.
He just hit me up. He's like, I appreciate the long form. Gives you a lot of compliments. Said, yeah, he's been voting for you in the primary, and he's going to continue to.
Thank you, Blair.
Man. Continued success, Greg.
Thank you, man. Thank you to see you guys.
It's always good to have you, and you're always welcome. Says the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3.
Fighting the communists with truth every day on the only conservative news and talk station in Atlanta. Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
Hey, this is Los with Terry from Alpharetta, who just purchased a new car with the Honest Car Guy, the new, fully transparent, honest way to buy your next vehicle. Terry, tell us about your experience.
I have a son serving in the military. He's active duty with limited time to look for a car. My son was looking for a used Hyundai Veloster, and I had heard about the Honest Car Guy on the radio, decided that might be a route to go, and we made a phone call over the weekend. He screen shared the information with us. We looked over the vehicle, and he took the reins from there, and they were able to walk us through the process of buying the car. We're very clear and transparent, and next thing we knew, we had a car in the driveway.
Friends, if you're in the market for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. You pay what we pay, plus an honest fee, and we back that up by giving you the bill of sale. That's our transparency guarantee. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME, the number 1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
I'm Chad Pergram with the Speakers Lobby. There's a working theory that a Dutch ornithologist is patient zero in the recent hantavirus outbreak. He visited a landfill in Argentina. Bird watchers from around the world flocked to the landfill to see the rare white-throated caracara, and it's believed that that's where the ornithologist came in contact with the droppings of long-tailed pygmy rice rats. They carry the Andes strain of the hantavirus. Democratic Vermont Senator Peter Welch is known for visiting dumps in the Green Mountain State. A reporter on Capitol Hill recently asked Welch if he was worried about contracting hantavirus after his regular trips to the dump and what we learned about the hantavirus in South America. When asked, Welch argued that, quote, Vermont has clean dumps. Welch doesn't don any protective gear when he visits the dumps, just his Carhartts and a baseball cap. And despite the concern about hantavirus, Welch says, quote, nothing will keep me away from the dump. And to be clear, there is no evidence that any rodent carries the hantavirus in Vermont dumps. With the Speakers Lobby, Chad Pergram, Fox News.
The Morning Extra, every weekday on your drive to work.
Isn't that the Democrat way, though?
Yes.
Find somebody to blame it on other than taking responsibility.
Lowest common denominator, and then attack them. Typically, it's going to be whoever they perceive to be dumb. And I tell you all the time, they look at people in the military as being dumb. You have that when it comes to people in Congress. You have that when people in terms of the media. The theater kids look at the athletes and those in the military as all being dumb.
Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station is Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra 106.3 app. Streaming across Georgia on the Extra 106.3 app. This is WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. Extra 106.3.
Texas is going to get a new senator. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, and it might be Ken Paxton, the Trump-backed Republican who primaried out John Cornyn.
The future of Texas and the future of America is on the line.
Paxton beat Senator Cornyn in a GOP runoff by almost 28 points a week after getting the president's endorsement. A Trump Truth Social post congratulating Paxton calls the Democrat in the race, James Tallarico, weak on crime and a strong advocate of open borders. Tallarico posted on X that Paxton is
the most corrupt politician in America.
An anti-Trump Democratic Congressman, Al Green, lost his primary runoff in Texas to fellow Democratic Congressman Christian Menifee in a redrawn House district. In another Democratic congressional runoff, Johnny Garcia easily defeated Maureen Galindo, who had caused controversy, calling for imprisoning American Zionists who back Israel in an ICE detention facility. Now, there's anti-ICE protesting outside a detention facility in Newark, New Jersey, where some immigrants are refusing to eat. Borders' Tom Holman tells Fox,
hunger strikes do not work. So they can
put themselves in a position where they're, not eating, but it's not going to cause them to be released.
Protesters have been outside the facility for days in response to a hunger strike they say was organized by detainees over conditions like poor quality food and subpar medical care. Democratic New Jersey officials, including the governor, Senator Andy Kim, and Congressman Rob Menendez, are demanding that the facility be closed. On Monday, masked ICE agents fired pepper balls and chemical irritants at the protesters, which Kim said he inhaled while trying to strike an agreement between the two sides.
Fox's Tony J. Powers. In 2 hours, President Trump will have a cabinet meeting.
Today's cabinet meeting comes as a tentative peace deal is negotiated to end the war with Iran. The president has warned attacks on Iran could resume if an agreement ending Iran's nuclear program is not reached.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. And Israel's gone on the attack in Gaza again, killing the new leader of Hamas's armed wing. America's listening to...
If you want unlimited talk, text, and data on a crazy fast network, Big Wireless will sell it to you right now for as little as $70 a month. Or you can buy it from Pure Talk for half of that. I'm talking about unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data for just $34.99 a month. Stop paying the big guys twice what you need to. Dial pound 250, say my name. That's pound 250 micro to switch to Pure Talk, where the savings are truly unlimited.
Born on America's darkest day, 9/11/01, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation has been helping American heroes ever since. Heroes like FDNY Lieutenant Edward J. McDonough Jr. McDonough served at Ground Zero. He later lost his life to a related cancer. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation was able to honor his sacrifice by paying off the family's mortgage. Donate $11 a month, and you can amplify your impact with a car or land donation. Just go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org.
No traffic, no big deal. It's the Morning Extra on 106.3.
Tug and Los until 10 on Extra 106.3. Download the app so you can listen live and on demand. Such a great conversation with Greg Dolezal. If you missed it, it'll be available on the Extra 106.3 app.
He's one of the only people that's talking about a lot of social issues. And
yeah, a lot of people run away from those.
Yeah, and also the marriage of government to the citizen and how important that is. And as he pointed out, that was Charlie Kirk's frontier. That was him talking about what young people have been promised and what hasn't been delivered and how it's important because those people will turn to socialism if they're pushed far enough.
Dude, you saw it in New York. I mean, it's the saddest thing, and I think he brought it up too, the saddest thing to think. And it is very encouraging for the communist, the socialist, to say we have captured the heart of capitalism. We've captured it. We have it. And that will encourage them to try it everywhere. And you're seeing candidates like that pop up in places like Iowa. Now, I'm not saying they're winning in Iowa, but I also can't say that they won't ever win in Iowa. Will there be people like that in Georgia? Greg brought up a state senator that is an open Democrat socialist, a.k.a. communist, in Georgia. If you don't think it can grow, it can. Be aware. And that's why it's important to have people like Greg fighting for you and on your behalf, fighting for those American values that you cherish, those Georgia values that you cherish, whether born and raised here like I am, or if you came here to get away from the craziness wherever you're from and like, hey, I want to go somewhere that I can be comfortable knowing that American values and Georgia values will be honored. It takes people like Greg Dolezal and folks running in the state like him that value that same thing that you do, that share your values. Los has said it 1,000,000 times. What is wealth? It's not just money. It's those shared values, knowing that the people that live in your community share your values and the things that are important to you. And man, I don't want to sound like a nervous Nelly or a long-tailed cat in a room full of rockers, but there are those moments where, I read, because we read so much, and you get overwhelmed, and you're like, oh my gosh, we're doomed. We're freaking doomed. And then you have somebody like Greg comes in and it sets you, at least you put you back to even.
But this is where I talk about the responsibility of Gen X. And now the newest people that are in this fight. Because communism, as Greg Dolezal was bringing up and what I was talking about, like it's about every 3 generations, sometimes 2 generations, it pops back up. And it becomes prevalent again. And now you're having to deal with this mentality. And you got to basically stuff it back under the bed and make sure to tell that monster stay down there. But it shows back up over and over. It's kind of the nature of man stuff. And so I think it's our responsibility as Gen X to help out the generations that, let's face it, the boomer generation they've gotten their money, they made their money, and they're like, hey, we're checking out. I mean, let's face it. What Neil tells us,
yep.
Hey, I'm going around the country. Y'all deal with it.
Y'all deal with it.
Right.
And it is. It's us to hold the line. It is us to save the United States of America. And if you think I sound like I'm being hyperbolic, I'm not. I'm not. I don't feel like I am being hyperbolic. I think saving the United States is a real task, and it's something that we must do. And it starts right here in our home state of Georgia. So just keep that in mind. And a lot of times, Greg said it, and I agree with him, those commies come with a smile, and sometimes they'll even twist your own values to make them look like it's theirs, which is kind of what's happening in Texas and part of the first thing to know. On Xtra 106.3.
He's a pretty low IQ individual.
I know he is.
Which one of us?
Yeah,
yes.
I think he's actually talking about James Tallarico. If you're asking me, that's who I think he was talking about.
Pretty funny.
Because there is reason to be hopeful that James Tallarico will be pretty easy to beat in deep red Texas. He said the Bible doesn't address abortion. I thought that was such an interesting thing to say and an interesting argument to bring up. Listen.
I trust Texas women to make decisions about their own bodies, to shape their own destinies in consultation with their family members, their doctors, their faith leaders. I don't believe that's a place for government. I don't believe it's a place for politicians. I don't believe it's a place for the state. And that's a belief I hold not despite my faith, but because of my faith. Jesus never talks about abortion. The Bible is silent on abortion. And when that happens with a social issue as important as abortion, we Christians have to take scripture as a whole, and we've got to try to make some kind of ethical determination. Right now in Texas, we have the most extreme abortion ban in the country. No exception for rape, no exception for incest. We have girls as young as 10 years old who are assaulted, who are raped, who are victims of incest, and who can't access basic reproductive care, who aren't able to make the decision about whether or not they are going to create. And again, just my personal belief is that we have to give women and girls the freedom to make this decision as moral agents.
I want to just jump in where James left off, because he started with the belief in the Bible, and he said, the Bible just didn't really address this. And I'm no Bible scholar, lifelong Bible reader, no Bible scholar. And I would direct James to the 20th chapter of Exodus, or maybe even the 5th chapter of Deuteronomy in the good book. If he's too lazy to look it up, I'm referring to the 10 Commandments. Yeah, just in case. Specifically, thou shalt not kill. And I hope that clears up his confusion. But he loves taking your values and twisting them. This is something that Los showed me a long time ago when we first started doing the show. He was like, man, don't fall for somebody taking your values and twisting them and using them against you. And that's exactly what he's doing. That's exactly what he's doing. Now, will he continue? Of course, because you think the mainstream media is going to call him on his BS? They don't believe in the good book to begin with. They laugh at you for you believing in it.
Well, when you have the communists and socialists, one of the first things they always try and erode within a country is culture, and that specifically points to religion. This is also one of the ways that they cause you to question yourself.
That's right.
They will take those values and they'll tell you, Tug, I don't think Jesus would consider that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what was it when we had 10 million people streaming across the border? Jesus didn't believe in borders.
That's
like,
right. Yeah.
Oh, really?
I believe you
That's kind of interesting how you got this one going.
Yeah.
But that's always how they do it. And so James Tallarico is just another one of those socialists who is pushing this particular narrative and trying to, as I said before, 2 months ago, I was like, that is a wolf in sheep's clothing.
No question about it. And then somebody maybe even ask Tallarico, could you define a woman? Could you help us? Let's get the argument going. Let's make sure we're all on the same page. And of course, he wouldn't be able to do that because he's told you there's 6 genders. And I've seen so many people on the left, Los, so many people on the left saying he never said that. And then somebody inevitably will
plays the video,
put the video of him actually saying that. But that's what he does, man. I've always been told the devil knows the good book better than you do.
Well, here's the challenge: if I want to win in a Republican primary, I'm going to tell you about one of my biggest ones. What do I think of guns, Tug?
They're good.
So you think guns are good? When I want to win a general, you know what I'm going to tell you? I think guns are good. All right, the left has pushed so wildly out of bounds that in order to end up securing nomination, in order to rise within the party, you have to talk about more than 2 genders.
Yeah, it's required.
Otherwise, you're not singing the song. You don't get into the church of the left if you're not telling me about the 6 or the 10 or the 30 different genders. Like, I can't tell you when somebody says they're cis male. I'm like, hell does that mean? Like, you just made Tug's face go like, what the hell does that mean?
What?
I'm cisgender. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, nobody does.
You know what I do know? There's a man and a woman.
Yeah, I've got that part figured out.
And if I want to win a Republican primary, I just say there's a man and a woman. And if I want to win in a general, I have to say there's a man and a woman. That's why he's running from the stuff that he's previously said.
And look, we don't have to play it, Bryce, but along those lines, right along what you're talking about, guy that votes with the Democrats 93% of the time, Steve Schmidt, co-founder of the Lincoln Project, says Fetterman's not fit for office. Why? Because he doesn't fall in line with them. He says it's okay that Israel defends itself and they deserve to exist, and that Trump's not a Nazi. Just like you're saying, Fetterman can't say that, and Tallarico can't say there's 2 genders.
Nope.
Those are things that are off the table. You cannot say them. You are not allowed. And if you venture down that road, you're out.
I met some really interesting people while I was in the Dominican who they are lifelong people interested in politics, specifically Republican politics. And we were talking about some of the ways that you get dismissed. And I flat out told them, I go, listen, I'm a conservative version of a soy boy. Like, I can't wait to get back home and I'm going to throw some tofu on the pizza. And of course, they got a laugh out of it. And I started saying, now, if I want to do a talk show and talk about that stuff, cool. I said, if you want to win in the state of Texas, you better be talking about prime rib and bacon and steak, baby.
Give me some sausage.
And Tallarico is just talking about like, I'm just vegan and we got to get it. I was like, dude, you are Beto 2.0.
Yeah,
like, you really are.
And you've probably seen the posed picture.
He's got the same pose as Beto O'Rourke, which Texas told me for, 2 different cycles and about the span of 5 or 6 years. No, you don't understand. Beto O'Rourke is going to win Texas. He's going to change Texas.
But that in that same pose, he makes Beto look like Hercules because he's so soft. You can just tell he's so soft. God, it's awful. It's so bad. Patricia's on the phone at 404-741-1230. Patricia, thank you so much for listening. I don't know if you know this. Half of our audience is women, and I'm so grateful for that and grateful for you.
Well, thank you. Listening to the Democrat socialist in Georgia and how all this happened, I posed the question, have you read Atlas Shrugged?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. And you wonder if they ever have.
It should be mandatory reading in high school again. I've read it 8 times. It is the Democratic playbook.
Yeah. No, you're right. Patricia's exactly right. 100%. I mean, communism, when it comes to individualism, something that the Democrats despise. What was it Mamdani said? We're going to reject the rugged individualism and embrace the warmth of collectivism. That's exactly what Mamdani said. I think it was at his speech when he accepted the mayorship.
I have to try and look into this because that used to be part of the curriculum. you had Atlas Shrugged as part of the high school curriculum.
Yeah, not sure it's there.
Now, I mean, I would have loved to give it to middle schoolers, but when you get to about 1,000 pages, it tends to be a bit of a problem. Well, I think most books, when you start talking about 1,000 pages, that's out.
Patricia says, I've read it 8 times. And she's got it memorized inside and out, and good for her. It's, man, you have to be careful, and that was one of the comments that Tricia was making, is that America can fall. It can happen. I'm not saying it will, and I pray that it don't, and every bit of me will be out voting like my life and my kids' lives depend on it, because I know it can happen.
Atlas Shrugged, it was noted by AI, never part of a standard nationwide high school curriculum. However, it has been part of optional or supplemental, which is when I got it. That was my exposure to it, was like sophomore year of high school in one of our AP courses. And so you read and ran Atlas Shrugged.
Yeah. Bill's on the phone, 404-741-1230. I feel like we've hit a nerve here.
Well, he's the other half because he's the 50% of the men. You got 50% women, 50% men.
Might as well, we're going to spread it around this morning. What's up, Bill?
All right. Good morning, gentlemen. It's great to finally talk to you. I've been listening to you the whole time on and off, and love Kimmer. I'm an old Kimmer guy.
Sweet.
I'm almost as old as Kimmer, like 2 years younger. So, but steadier on my feet.
Well, Kimmer needs a new leg. We're working on that.
That's right. We're going fundraiser going. Maybe a GoFundMe or something.
Oh my God. Well, anyway, Los, I love to hear you talk about Lubies and different things in Texas, and I lived in Austin and in Houston.
Oh, well, then you know what it's like when you have to grab like late night Whataburger, or actually Whataburger at any time.
Oh yeah.
And by the way, it was different then because they were massive burgers, like in the 80s and 90s.
They so are not the same, but let's not go there. They're still good, but not like they used to be, not big. But everything's smaller these days. Just a comment on Beto, I hate to say this, Los, but he was a fake Mexican.
Yes.
Same thing with Tellerico, whose real name is Causey.
Yeah, they tried to sell Beto O'Rourke as some sort of Hispanic origin in the state of Texas, hoping that would help repel him.
Yeah.
There you go, Bill.
And it maybe did. Maybe it gave him a little boost, but not enough.
Well, Bill, thank you for the call, and just to echo off of what Bill's point is, now the new tactic is, well, let's just try and give him a Christian moderate.
Yeah.
That's not who James Tallarico is.
No, definitely not. All you have to do is listen to him talk. Listen to him talk. It will jump off the page at you when you read the things he says, or if you watch the videos on social media, especially if you've gone to church, I don't know, once. If you've ever considered going to church, the things that he says does not align with the faith that he pretends to believe. I'm not trying to be judgmental. I'm not trying to judge a man's heart because I don't know, but I know what he says is not right. I know that for sure. I sent Los this video that I don't think we could ever play.
Is it the one that you and I were sharing back and forth yesterday?
No, not that one.
It's not my current favorite one.
No, it's not. It's the one I followed up with the. It was the African American preacher
who was that preacher was scorched earth awesome.
He went off. I told Los because he says what he says in a church, and he's basically saying all the same things that we are, but he does it with a little more coarse language. And I said, look, I don't know if what he's saying is holy. But it ain't wrong.
He wasn't lying to you.
That's right.
Is the best way I would put it.
It's unbelievable.
I'm going to send my current new favorite video over to Bryce. Bryce, do not play this on the air, Bryce.
Do not. Whatever you do,
do not play this. This is not like a joke. This is not me saying like, oh no, I want you to play it, Bryce.
No, it's not.
Do not play this on the air. This is for your own enjoyment.
Charles, quickly. Charles is on the phone at 404-741-1230. Charles, what's up, man?
Yeah, hi. I wanted to say that I enjoyed listening to Greg Dolezal speak. I had seen him last night at the Bartow County Republican meeting.
Nice.
And he brought up a lot of the points that he was speaking to you guys about, especially when it comes to young people and homes and ownership and stuff like that. And something I think that gets lost in the sauce is that when people refer to the 50s and 60s and even to the 70s where home ownership was much higher than it is now, an average home was like 1,100 square feet.
Yeah.
People had a postage stamp size yard.
Yeah.
And you get out, and there's this, along with a lot of the other Me Too, I want this, I want that, give me, I deserve. You get some 26-year-old coming out of college who thinks he's going to step into a 4,500 square foot house on half an acre. It's not realistic.
No,
and that's a big,
right.
I'm not saying it's the only problem. There's certainly a lot of crap going on with what Greg spoke about with foreign entities buying up our land and our homes. But that's a big piece of it. You tell some, I don't know what gen we're talking about when it's 25 or 30 years old. What is it? Gen X, whatever.
Gen Y, Gen Z.
Yeah.
You're going to, guess what, Sparky? You're getting a 1,200 square foot house with 2 bedrooms, a dining room, a living room, and a kitchen.
That was my first.
I can't have that.
That was my first. Yeah.
Yes.
I know exactly what you mean. And then
my father was a doctor of chiropractic. We lived in a 700 square foot apartment over his clinic.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, on top of that, Charles, the other thing is Los that houses, because he talked about back then, the cost of a house is what a car costs nowadays. You know what I mean? It's just different.
Yeah.
But Charles is exactly right.
And I guess here's what I'm going back to. Because, and again, as a capitalist, I love this. I love the fact that the amount of money and the growth that I've had in my home has allowed me to purchase the next home. It allowed me to invest in Florida. That has gone on. At the same time, I do think about, all right, 24-year-old me actually when it happened, who was engaged, was already out of college, didn't have any debt, and yet there was a $130,000 townhome available to me. Right now, that townhome's like $400,000.
I was going to say 5, but 4.
Yeah, and that's 20 years we're talking, and so yeah, the growth of it is great, but that was available to me 20 years ago at that number. What about that next 24-year-old who's in the same position with no debt, just got engaged, and just wants to start living that American dream?
It seems very distant. Seems very impossible. When we come back on Extra 106.3, what a really funny comedian thinks the names he's being called by leftists. What he thinks about those. Next on the Morning Extra at Extra 106.3.
Support the advertisers and partners that share your values. Give our extra advertisers the first shot to earn your business. They will deliver for you every time and support the extra community like no one else. Connect with all of our partners online at extra1063.com.
Atlanta, it's Mark from the Safe House. The legacy of Joe Biden lives. His open border policy let millions of illegal criminals stream into our country. We continue to have customers visit the showroom and report that they have been victims of break-ins and lost their hard-earned and irreplaceable items. So don't be a victim. Drop by the Safe House showroom and see what real security looks like. Picture yourself placing your valuables in a Fort Knox safe. Now that's real protection for your priceless valuables. Drop by the showroom or go to atlantasafehouse.com.
Great, another auto repair. You took it to the dealer and now you're starting to panic. They say it's going to cost thousands and take weeks to complete. So don't fall for the tricks. Take it to Vicks. From simple oil changes and tires to transmission replacements and collision repair, you can count on Vicks Auto Care for honest, affordable service. Vicks Auto Care on Roswell Street in Marietta. Visit them today at VicksAutoCare.com. That's VIKS Autocare.com.
You've worked hard to build your investments, but are they positioned the right way from a tax perspective? Because it's not just what you make, it's what you keep. Hi, I'm David Nicholas, president of Nicholas Wealth Management. Many investors don't realize that their portfolios may be creating unnecessary tax exposure. Capital gains, required minimum distributions, inefficient account placement can quietly reduce your returns, especially as you approach retirement. At Nicholas Wealth Management, we help clients evaluate whether their investments are structured in a tax-efficient way, looking beyond performance to understand how taxes impact income today and your legacy tomorrow. Are your assets in the right accounts? Are there opportunities to reduce further tax liability. Is your strategy aligned with your long-term retirement goals? Call Nicholas Wealth Management today, 678-990-8500. Schedule a complimentary review. That's 678-990-8500 or visit nicholaswealth.com. Nicholas Wealth Management, helping you keep more of what you've worked so hard to build.
Nicholas Wealth Management is an independent financial services firm. This is for informational purposes only and is not specific investment advice.
We've all done it. We tried to save a buck or two buying a knockoff that ends up being more costly to fix or replace. Hopefully we've learned in the end, knockoffs are not a good idea. If your gutters need help, don't just spring for any gutter guard. Leaf Filter is the trusted name with over 20 years of relentless engineering behind it. Clogged gutters are not just annoying, they cause extensive water damage. Leaf Filter is an investment designed to help protect your home. Leaf Filter is inexpensive way for you to make sure that you have surgical grade stainless steel micro mesh that keeps out all of the debris and lets the water in. It's proven to accept 200% more water than some hood style gutter guards. So in heavy rain, they help keep the water from pouring over the edge of your gutters down to the foundation and basement. Start protecting your home today with Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system. Schedule your free inspection. Save up to 15% off at leaffilter.com/Glenn Beck. 15% off, leaffilter.com/Glenn Beck. Minimum purchase is required. Restrictions apply. See rep for promotion details.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
It's Wednesday, May 27th, and here are your headlines. President Donald Trump and Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton emerged as the big winner in Texas' high-profile Republican Senate runoff, with Paxton defeating longtime Senator John Cornyn after receiving Trump's endorsement just days before the election. This sets up a closely now watched general election matchup against Democratic State Representative James Tallarico. Georgia drivers could continue seeing rising gas prices through summer travel season as tensions in the Middle East and disruptions involving the Strait of Hormuz impact global markets, with analysts warning higher diesel prices could also drive up costs across the broader economy, despite Georgia's temporary gas tax suspension helping keep prices below the national average. And finally, the Smyrna City Council is considering a proposed $122.7 million budget for the fiscal year of 2027 that would keep the city's millage rate unchanged while increasing spending in the general fund, as leaders also continue discussions on a long-term comprehensive plan focused on future development, affordability, transportation connections, and growth around downtown Smyrna. Rainfall is expected through the morning with possible thunderstorms in the afternoon. It'll be a high of 85 and a low of 69 today. With your Extra 1-6-3 headlines, I'm Bryce Colbert.
Tug and Los on Extra. Thank you for being here. Jeff Clark, you can find him on social media at Real Jeff Clark. He posted a great video and tagged you and I on it, and it's RFK Jr. snatching up two black racers. just picking them up like it's nothing. He's like, come here, dude.
Well, they're harmless.
I know, but most people wouldn't do that.
I wouldn't.
No, I probably wouldn't. I don't know that I would pick them up quite like he did. But
he's having fun with them.
Yeah,
like I got him.
He's like, look at here. He's holding them up, and one of them like snaps at him. One strikes at him, and may have even gotten him from what I can tell. And they're jumping around, man. Most people would be scared to death. RFK, he's like, I work out in blue jeans, dude. I'll pick up these snakes. I don't care. I liked him before. I love the guy now. Dude, he is a freaking superhero, you ask me.
Just handling snakes, dude, that does it for Tug.
That's right. It's like my family back in Lafayette.
That's right. They shake a snake every Sunday.
That's right. Everybody shakes a snake.
That's a hard pass for me on that.
I agree. Listen,
dude, I love it. That's awesome.
I think he is who he is. But the fact that I just love that a guy that the left adored for years has now completely abandoned everything the guy is about because he's serving this administration.
Cannot stand him anymore. Dude, it's so funny.
Like, how easy is it? Well, it's like any cult. You leave the cult and the cult goes after you.
Yeah, that's right. They have to. What was the actress that was in she did a TV show?
Yeah, she left Scientology.
Yes.
And went right after her.
Her name is on the tip of my tongue. And she did a whole show called Escaping Scientology. And I know somebody's screaming at the radio right now because they know the answer. Those who have to look it up if you can.
Leah doing this.
Leah Remini.
Yeah.
There we go. Absolutely right.
I didn't watch that. I didn't watch network television, so
I knew
who it was, but I didn't know her name.
I didn't know. I mean, I knew who she was. Wasn't she in King of Queens? I feel like
King of Queens.
Yeah, that TV show, which I've never seen an episode of. But I know her. But the whole point is, going back to your statement, man, they will come after you, and they did. They came after her hard. And I think she still to this day is uneasy about being chased after, if you will. It's just a mess, man, for what all it is. But
good for Katie Holmes, who also got out.
Did she?
Yeah.
Oh, that is good.
I mean, it was while she was married to Tom Cruise. She was in.
Yeah, exactly.
She was like, I'm getting out of this thing.
Yeah.
She's like, Catholicism seems okay.
Yeah, I think I'm going back to my roots.
What do you think drew Tom Cruise to Scientology? What's the draw?
I don't know. I don't have any idea. I mean, I have a good guess. Well, I don't know enough about it.
It's not so much what draws you, it's what keeps you. Because in order to get clear, now I know there's going to be some Scientologists out there who's like, you're giving it all away. Because I have had Scientologists come up at road shows and like drop off pamphlets.
No way, really?
Yeah.
I've never seen that happen.
It happened probably about 7 or 8 years ago.
Okay, I've never had anything even remote. No exchange at all.
So in order to get clear, this is a particular device that you're on, and you're trying to reach and ascend to different levels, in which then like the universe will be revealed to you and all this sort of stuff. But you're basically having to tell your deepest, darkest secrets. You're having to basically expose all this information about yourself.
Now I know why you can't get out.
And when you will want to get out,
yeah, they're like, remember this? We're going to tell everybody.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to tell them about that extra banana pudding you took from Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I'd be stuck forever. Good thing I never gone. Good thing I never went over to the dark side. Goodness gracious, dude. I don't. Like I said, I just know when I drive by that one, that big church that's over off of Roswell. It's right at Roswell Road and 285. There's like next to the Prado, I think. But I drive by and I'm like, cold chills.
I always see the one in LA of the guy. I don't know if you've seen this. It's a guy who just constantly like will walk by and he knows the people's names and they'll just instantly shut the doors on him. And there's also been people that have like been able to storm in there and like into like the back rooms of it. It's very interesting.
Yeah, I don't even know about that. But fascinating.
It's not even. It doesn't even look like a church. Like it just looks like a fancy office building.
Very corporate.
Now, as much as we can give Tom Cruise crap about Scientology, still go back on YouTube, watch his interview with Matt Lauer when he starts talking about the history of psychiatric care and putting people on drugs. He wasn't wrong about any of that.
I recall that.
He wasn't wrong
Absolutely.
about any of that.
No, that's right. Look, I'm not saying he's completely crazy. Just partially.
Listen, he also gave you Top Gun Maverick.
I know. It's hard for me not to.
Pretty good.
No, it's great. That's what I said. Like, I don't dislike Tom Cruise. I just can't figure him out. I'm like, what's the draw?
Well, again, the draw is they got you.
Well, yeah, but like, what gets you to that point where you're willing to tell people your deepest, darkest? You know what I mean? How do they get you in the front door?
Dianetics. I'm going to buy it for you.
Right. Yeah,
by the way, L. Ron Hubbard is not a good author.
Yeah.
He's a science fiction writer.
Yeah.
There was a church built from a science fiction writer.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't understand the draw. I don't see what pulls you in. Comedy is something that ties us all together. We love to laugh, and especially on this show, man, we laugh at things we're not supposed to. Sometimes say the things we're not supposed to, and we even put one of a coworker on the spot yesterday when we played Political Jeopardy that we did. We did on election night for the primary.
If you missed it.
And we posed. Yeah, go back and watch it on YouTube. It's really funny. I think you'll enjoy it. And some of those questions that get asked that you'll see got asked in a meeting, and you can just see the red face.
Yes.
People they're like, I can't say that.
I mean, you want me to give you an example?
Yes.
Ways to get canceled for 100 was this career criminal died on the streets of Minneapolis in 2020 from a drug overdose while in police custody.
And one of our coworkers just put their head down and was like, no. And I was like, you may not answer it, but you know the answer.
And then, of course, Kimmer's like, George Floyd!
But comedy's supposed to be that place.
It's supposed to go and take you into places that are uncomfortable, especially when it's a roast. A roast is like the best place because you say things that on a typical stage, it's supposed to go too far. It's supposed to be uncomfortable. Like the Tom Brady roast on Netflix, that thing is outstanding because it's just one joke after another that is just brutally mean about the end of his marriage and about his family. Then Tom Brady later made the point, he's like, well, I wish it hadn't been so much, but it's a roast. It's what it is. So you then just had the Hart roast. And Kevin Hart, it was his production. Let's start off with that. It's his production. So who was there was invited by Kevin Hart. The MC was Shane Gillis because Kevin Hart is a monstrous name in comedy, and he wanted Shane Gillis.
Absolutely.
And
if you're Shane, you're like, heck yeah, I'll do it.
And who has the hottest show in all of comedy? Tony Hinchcliffe. You might remember him as the man who joked around about the garbage of Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Because they have a garbage problem.
Yes, that's right.
They do. Like, they don't know where to put it at this point. And that was Tony Hinchcliffe's joke, which then got, Joe Biden to say all the stuff he was going to say and Donald Trump in the garbage truck.
Yep.
All right? So after the roast is over with, Chelsea Handler, noted leftist, who has spent her last week after that roast playing Holier Than Thou. Well, those jokes are racist. They never should have been made. Well, those jokes, that never should have happened. Shane Gillis was really funny in his response. He's like, I'm glad Chelsea enjoying the spotlight, and I want the best for her. And by the way, come watch me at the Eagles Stadium. I'll be playing whatever. Like, listen, I got bigger stuff going on than her.
I'm good.
Well, Tony Hinchcliffe, during Kill Tony this past week, this is how he addressed what had gone on during that roast.
Kevin Hart was something else, huh? It's the first time I've been called a Nazi multiple times in just a few hours. I guess that's what LA writers' rooms, all these, a lot of mentally ill liberals out there that somehow with all these blacks and Jews and Mexicans around me, I guess I'm a Nazi somehow. I guess the guy that pulls names out of a bucket giving everybody an opportunity is a Nazi. Isn't that something? I was called that by a bunch of people that have never written anything in their lives, that literally have just been reading cue cards and teleprompters every project they've ever done, with the inability to improvise whatsoever. No opportunity to have their own thought. They just read what the writers wrote for them without any originality whatsoever.
Now, if you're not familiar with Tony Hinchcliffe, and I probably should have done a better job.
It's just the stand-up podcast.
This. Well, so he has an all-black band. He is surrounded on stage by a variety of people. The show itself is like its own roast. And they have their regular guests that come through, which are of all shapes, all sizes,
and abilities too.
Yes, all from different countries. And then they do bucket pools, which means they give somebody in the audience an opportunity to do 1 minute of stand-up. And man, that can be really bad. But that's the fun of the show. And so he is known as the guy, if you do well enough, you get a ticket, and now you get to come and do one of the shows. And that could be at Madison Square Garden. That's life-changing. So this is a guy who's all about opportunity, but it comes with the meritocracy. You better make the crowd laugh.
That's right.
Like, and he's the Nazi, right?
Yeah, of course. It's like the what's the oh my gosh, it's on the tip of my tongue. Not at the Apollo. I think is it not at the Apollo where you go out the Apollo in New York and dude, you do your set and they will boo you off the stage if it's not good.
They're always told when it comes to Kill Tony, do not boo. You get the 1 minute and it's almost worse when they're dying on the vine.
Yeah.
Then again, they're only given 1 minute.
Not a sound, not a peep.
And then it turns into an interview where everyone on stage, you could go on stage and it could be Tony Hinchcliffe with Shane Gillis, with Joe Rogan. It's Austin based. So it's a bunch of Austin comedians and they could end up celebrating you or crapping all over you. And either way, is for the audience.
Yeah,
it's for the fun of it.
Yeah.
And one of their guys is already on SNL. It's like that's how fast it goes for you if you do well there. So the fact that they were referring to Tony Hinchcliffe as the Nazi, he's like, yeah, I guess I'm a Nazi, right?
Yeah.
Look at all these people around.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
the Nazi.
Yeah. Well, because he's like us, it just rolls off his back at this point.
Oh, he doesn't care one bit.
He doesn't give a lick. He couldn't care less because it means nothing.
That dude became a talking point during a presidential election If you could survive that,
yeah, you're good.
You don't have one problem.
Showtime at the Apollo. That was the show. I remember watching that, and it was usually on like a Saturday night, and you just see people get booed off the stage. It was great.
You could tell he was a little uncomfortable on stage whenever like people were calling. Like, he was just like shocked. Like, where is this coming from?
You could just see that if you're going to make fun of Tony Hinchcliffe, you call him gay because everybody does that to him. You make fun of his association with Donald Trump. You make fun of the fact that he's a wee twig of a man. I mean, there's so many areas to make fun of.
Yeah.
You would never go down the road that the guy who has the most diverse show and the most opportunistic show for regular people that are just trying to get a leg up in comedy, that somehow is the guy who's the Nazi.
Yeah, it's silly.
Like, just dumb.
It's
just
absolutely silly, dude. And it's something that you and I don't pay attention to. Most people don't pay attention to because of just the examples that you laid out. It's ridiculous. And that's why when you hear them call Trump all the names, you think Donald Trump flinches? No, of course not. He's been called everything. It's just not, it doesn't even equate him. Once you've called him the name so many times, and I bet Tony feels the same way. If you call him that so many times, it's like, yeah, well, I'm not taking you serious. This is not real, and you know it. I'm even a little bit surprised that he even addressed it.
It was just something because it's been in the news. You've seen it. I mean, Chelsea Handler saying that Kevin Hart goes on with Charlemagne the God.
Defended the guy.
Kevin Hart, it's like, it's my production.
Kevin Hart was maybe the biggest
Kevin
defender.
Hart was the person who put it together. It was his production. That's why it ends with, and I'm sorry I'm ruining, it ends with The Rock. No. And The Rock murders him.
So good. What your kids are being fed. Next on Extra.
Extra 106.3 Sports, powered by 680 The Fan.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Wednesday, May 27th. The Atlanta Braves opened up the road trip with a 7-6 victory in Boston last night over the Red Sox. Michael Harris went 4 for 4, including an 8th-inning homer, his 12th of the season. Game 2 goes down tonight. It'll be Bryce Elder on the mound. He'll be opposed by Connolly early. First pitch is set for 6:45. You can hear all the game action on our sister station, 680 The Fan, and for free on the Fan app. From the NHL, the Las Vegas Golden Knights will play for Lord Stanley's Cup as they swept the Colorado Avalanche out of the playoffs, including a 2-1 victory last night. Tonight, the Montreal Canadiens host the Carolina Hurricanes. Carolina does lead that series 2-1. Puck drops at 8 o'clock. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
In a world where so many HVAC companies are getting just gobbled up by big money, bigger companies, venture capitalists, dollars, losing that local touch, Central Heating and Air Conditioning is not. Still independent, still focused on long-term relationships instead of quick transactions and sales pressure tactics when they're in front of you at the house, when they're telling you that something's wrong with the HVAC and you got to get it fixed, and they're waiting on your answer. Well, do you want to do it? Do you want to move forward? That's not the way it works at Central Heating and Air Conditioning. I've trusted them in my house for years. Family owned, right here in Atlanta. Chuck and his team are not answering to Wall Street or some district corporate company or person. They answer to you. They answer on their own reputation. I've known Chuck for a really long time, been to his house, and I encourage you to work with Central Heating and Air Conditioning. You can do that by calling 770-GET-HEAT or go to centralheat.com. Whether you need a full system replacement, which is not always the case. I know people that have had other companies out, and the other company would say, hey, man, nothing we can do. It's just beyond repair. You got to replace it. And Chuck and his team go out to that same home and be like, that's not exactly the case. And then fix it at a reasonable price. That's the reason you hear me talking about Central Heating and Air Conditioning, and that's the reason you'll continue to hear me talk about them. Because it's a personal relationship, you can have that one too. They're a Carrier dealer. You get top-of-the-line equipment back with top-of-the-line Carrier warranties installed by people you can actually trust. 770-GET-HEAT or centralheat.com. Central Heating and Air Conditioning, delivering Carrier comfort for the world we share.
Georgia is growing. That means more jobs and more economic opportunity. As we enhance electric grid to power this growth, we're working to minimize disruptions in your community. Our crews always put safety first. Please watch for them working alongside the road and move over if you're driving. We will make every effort to choose the least disruptive route for new power lines while balancing community and environmental impact, costs, and reliability. Watch your mailbox for letters or postcards from Georgia Power. We're proud to be here for Georgia and here for you.
Sponsored by Georgia Power.
It has begun. The Summer Starts Here sales event now through June 1st. Commuting every day, the 2026 Toyota Camry is now all hybrid with up to 53 miles per gallon in the city. At Marietta Toyota, every new Toyota includes our nationwide lifetime powertrain warranty. That's unlimited time and unlimited mileage for as long as you own it. And we've been voted Best of Cop for 2026, Best New Car Dealership, and Best Service Center. For well-qualified buyers, 5.49% APR for 72 months is available on the new 2026 Camry Hybrid. Non-Toyota owners may qualify for $1,000 Camry Conquest bonus cash, no trade-in required. Visit us on Cobb Parkway South, just north of Truist Stadium. Marietta Toyota since 1975. We have been here and will be here for you.
5.49% APR for 72 months with approved credit through Southeast Toyota Finance. Not all buyers are qualified. 1,000 Conquest for eligible current non-Toyota owners. Must finance or lease through Southeast Toyota Finance. No trade-in required. N61-2026. See dealer for details. All prices exclude tax, tag, title, and include dealer fee of $699.
Of all the radio ads I've ever done, I only advertised one thing that I think saved my life. My CPAP machine. Sleep apnea. And I found the best CPAP dealer out there ever. Roddy at CPAPs, etc. in Alpharetta. CPAPsETC.com. Everything you need, all the supplies, shipped anywhere at a price that often beats insurance. CPAPsETC.com. Go take a peek now.
Hey, this is John Flading. I'm the president and owner of ATL Turf Co. We are family-owned, operated, independent local company. We have over 15 years of artificial grass design, installation, and sales experience. From premium artificial lawns and backyards, custom putting greens, sports fields, hardscape, drainage. We do both residential and commercial. If you can dream it, we can build it. Just go to atlturfco.com to schedule an appointment.
The legend Neil Bortz is only on Extra 106.3. Hey, it's the camera. How's it going? Here's what you missed from the Talkmaster.
Wouldn't it be nice if our children could learn basic civics that the majority does not rule? Not gonna happen. That's not the way our government education system was designed.
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Extra 106.3 or listen anytime on the Extra 106.3 app.
Tug and Los until 10 on Extra 106.3. Los just got back from the beach. He's already talking about going back, which I love because I've not been and I'm dying to get there. So I would do anything right now to go to the beach.
Bringing this up with our guest, Greg Dolezal, state senator running for lieutenant governor. Thank you for coming in the 8 o'clock hour and sharing some time with us. We were talking about the challenges trying to find a place because my wife and I went to the Dominican Republic for our 20th anniversary. Didn't take the kids. First time we hadn't traveled with the kids like 15 years. And now we're talking to them about going back. We'll save money every single month. Let's save money so we can do it again next year. But the girls want to come. So we have to figure out where you can go because the resort we stayed at, it was a Hyatt resort. It was Secrets. That's their brand for those resorts, and this was Tides. And it was great. It was awesome. Brand new, like a year and a half old. If you want any reviews of it, or by all means, I'll tell you all about it. Email me. But we want to do one that's a little bit more kid-friendly to where when mom and dad are in the pool doing some adult beverages, they have stuff to do.
Yeah, they can go to the water slides.
And Greg Dolezal suggested a couple where his wife and him with their 4 little ones, they were like, oh, we tried this. They had a water park built in. We're like, oh, okay.
And then they're building one of those
in Punta Cana, right down the street from where we were staying at.
Yeah, because you said you passed it and saw the fact that it's being built.
I was like, why isn't that water park operational?
Yeah, seems like
I was like, man, that looks like something like the kids would love.
Yeah,
it's because it doesn't open until June.
And now you know. But so much fun, man. I'm just at this point, I would be willing to go. I'd take a sandy beach next to the lake. Go check it in. If you find me a sandy spot on Lanier or Altoona somewhere, I would take that at this point just to get my toes in the sand a little bit. But yeah, and we're going to be. in the next couple of years, we're trying to figure out like what we want to do as a graduation. When my son graduates, he wants to get his master's done. When he does that, like the trip, like I want to make it memorable. I want to make it one of those and because he's at that age where he can get something out of it.
I graduated college and we went on a cruise with some other families.
That's so cool.
The rest of my friends hadn't graduated college.
Yeah, well.
But
they had some work to get done.
I was like, I'm on this because my family decided it was a college graduation gift.
Yeah.
You guys are here because you're just degenerates, but I love you.
Yeah.
We all grew up together.
It's fun times. Everybody's having fun times. It's great. No, that's awesome. So, I just got to figure out what we want to do. Is it international? Is it see the USA? Because that's something that I've seen more of the world than I've actually seen of the United States. Which
that's a good point.
Crazy to think about sometimes.
I had not seen as many places until we started travel volleyball.
Yeah.
I'd been the typical stuff throughout the South, Texas, Florida. But in recent years, Philadelphia I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And we went there, Baltimore, D.C., been to Indianapolis. It's okay.
Yeah.
Minneapolis. It's okay.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of places you get to go through the kids stuff that's been actually pretty cool for us.
Dude, I mean, like, I don't know, North Dakota, South Dakota, Wyoming.
Yeah, I'd
like
love to see that.
Montana. I'd love to go to some of those places.
We did White Sands on a football trip in New Mexico.
Yeah.
Oh,
dude, exactly.
So cool. Just being surrounded by the mountains.
Yeah, just places
cool.
that I've never been in the United States. I mean, wine country. I would love to go there.
My wife has been there plenty of times, and I think that spoiled her.
Yeah, I would have guessed
quite a bit. Yeah, she would always talk about, I'm going to Sonoma.
Oh,
it's like, and I know, and here's what always happens, Tug.
Life's so tough.
It's a really tricky game she would play. She would get home from the conference, and her company would run the conference, and as a thank you from the hotel or the resort or wherever they were at, they would send a box. And it was just a bunch of the wines.
Oh.
So she'd get home, and then a couple days later, like a box full of bottles would show up.
Yeah.
And it was all like, and this one's my favorite. And I really like this one.
This one costs, this costs $80, $90, $100, $150, whatever.
Yeah, a whole bunch of wine just showed up on my doorstep.
Yeah, darn. Then that's tough.
She was like, it was so hard. There were so many people. It was so tiring. Box of wine.
Yeah, I got to try all of it. It's like when we used to do broadcasts down in, at beaches or whatever, or even on the Disney cruises.
You got to go on those?
Yeah, man. Sure did. Dude, once when I was doing...
Bro, you keep this in mind.
When I was doing Mornings on the Country Stage, like once a quarter, I ran out of people to take with me.
We've had a multitude of times in this company where the sales staff all goes, and sometimes the morning show goes, but never does anyone else go.
Yeah, that's no good. That's low down.
I'll just stay here. And
Tug was there.
I'll man down the studio.
But Sweet Tug was there.
Well, no. Oh, no.
Sweet Tug.
No, I'm talking, this was 10, 15 years ago. Back when we go like once a quarter, we would literally... go down and broadcast.
Are you promising me? Now I want you to swear on Mark Richt.
Oh my!
That within this company, you have never gone on a sales related trip.
I could never tell you that
to the Caribbean.
I could never lie to you and tell you that. I've been very blessed, but it's usually not because of anything that I've done.
SUITE Tug.
See, that's so untrue. So untrue.
See,
I'm
here's
the plus
problem.
one.
I'm the common man of the show.
Not true.
Everyone thinks he went and got an education. Oh, he flew to the Dominican. Tug's the one who gets all the special stuff.
This dude's gone to the Dominican last week. When's the last time I went to the Dominican? I can't remember.
This guy has pictures with Laney.
Oh, well. That's because my buddies are rep. I'm always the plus one. I do have good friends. I'll say that. I've been able to show up at places.
Darius Rucker is like, Tug, man, where you been?
Probably not Darius, but Darius's bodyguard buddy. Yeah.
Sorry, Luke Bryan.
Yeah, that's right. Luke did give me a big old hug. He was like, Tug, how you been? Dude, that's cool. I hadn't seen him in probably 5 years. Probably at least 5 years. It's because he used to come on with us so often back before he was Luke Bryan, the superstar. He was just Luke Bryan, just playing gigs, and 100 people would show up. And so he kind of remembers you from that stuff. And that's the best stuff, right? Because you saw him before they were that.
I've only really had one like that, and that was because he was such a listener to the Chuck and Chernoff show. When I subbed in, we were across the street at Sports and Social, and Chipper Jones came in. And he was like, Los, hey, man, how you doing?
That's
I was
cool.
like, hey, freaking Chipper Jones, man.
Freaking knows my name.
I was like, hold on. I got to get some water. I got to take a minute.
That's right.
I just got a little lightheaded once.
That's right.
Hold on a second. I got to go call my mom.
Chipper has never, ever said, hey, Tug, how you doing? Ever said that.
That was pretty fun.
No, that's amazing. It is. But that's the,
Well, if you go back and, because a lot of times we will do weekly shows.
Yeah, right?
With a lot of these athletes on the sports side. We don't do as much of that outside of with Neil.
Yeah.
And Neil would maybe recognize us.
Maybe.
Because he only sees us like once a year.
Yeah, that's exactly right. He probably has to study the picture.
Look at, okay, which one's
maybe he picks up on the voice because he talks with us so much.
Yeah.
And I know he listens for a good 30 minutes before he comes on. So he probably can
chooses
pick up on
fighting words.
Yeah, that's exactly right. He gets
next week, I got to figure out an AI version of Tug who all he does is bad mouths. Neil in that segment before.
Yeah.
And we just keep playing them.
Yeah.
And then Neil just comes on. He's raring to tear your head off.
We'll start with Achy Breaky Heart.
Yeah, that's right. Have him getting pissed off already. It's just some AI be like, Neil's ugly and he's awful. Just something crazy like that.
Are we going to have old Bortz on?
Yeah.
Like, oh, man, Tug, can't believe you keep saying these things.
Old, tired, no good for nothing. You know what I mean?
What a stupid bus.
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly.
Just make him all fired, just to see how he would respond to it. I think would be funny.
Yeah, people who are, what is it? They fly hot air balloons. They're not pilots.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Right there from Tug. That would get them all set off.
Because what was it he called it? It was a name. Aeronaut.
Aeronaut? Yeah.
Aeronaut, I think is it. Yeah. Yeah, he
Good
was.
memory.
Accidental. Every now and then.
You and Bryce both. I was sitting there like, it's something not, like Octonaut.
Oh, I remember looking it up.
That's Disney.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like Disney Junior TV.
No, goodness gracious. But back to traveling somewhere, I got to figure out where it is that would be good to take. So if you have suggestions at Tug Calvert, you can find me.
It's called Tides, Secret Tides over in Punta Cana.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
And I'm not saying you have to get the swim out pool, but if you...
But you did.
You make it special.
And it was amazing.
It was amazing.
But 20 years, you should do
20 years
like
is the only reason. Yeah. Normally we're pretty frugal. It's about where we're at and the time we're going to have it. Just for... It's my wife's plan, and fortunately, she knows that I don't spend on myself.
Same.
Like I don't buy shoes or clothes or anything else. She has anything new I have is because she bought it.
Yeah, that's right.
So she took it that mentality for 20th anniversary.
It's freaking crazy because I'm the frugal one in our house and my wife's an accountant. So it kind of tells you like we're real good at saving.
Doug's gonna find a way to get that vacation comped.
Yeah,
he'll find a friend.
Yeah, look, if we can figure it out, I certainly will.
I don't think you understand. I've been up for awards. In country music.
Don't you pay no mind?
Do you know who I am?
Do you know who I am?
They'll be like, yeah, you lost. I know exactly who you are. You're a loser.
But I'm nominated.
That's right. That'll do it for us. Love hanging out with you here.
Special people
on Extra
get nominated.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Special people lose, like I did. For Los and Bryce, I'm Tug. Y'all come back now. You hear?
Don't give up your room.
Need more than just headlines on your ride to work? It's the Morning Extra, live from 6 to 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, only on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.